Hello, 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 and I already have a guest backstage. Let me bring her up. Hey, Spooky.
Hello. I'm
Hey
home
there,
today, so
Pro Gamer, Jimmy Girl. Hey, Witchy Nicole. Well, I'm glad you're up here. You probably know
yeah,
a little bit something about what we're going to talk about.
I do. I
Yeah.
do.
Um, so I'm going to give it just a couple of minutes. You're off today, and I do have the StreamYard link pinned at the top if anybody else wants to come up and discuss this. But we're going to talk about the boo boo that's going on in Palestine, Ohio. Well, come on up with you, Nicole. The link's posted at the top. She lives in Ohio too. Because I've been watching this all week. I usually don't pay attention. My husband's a big Fox News person, and I usually don't pay that much attention to it. Hey, Jan. But I started hearing about this train derailment in Palestine, Ohio, and I've like really gotten into it this week because I think what's going on up there is just flat out wrong. It is wrong on every single level. And it's something that if you watch the mainstream news media, you're not getting the whole story because we watch Fox and then I watch my local news and they just come, oh yeah, train derailment, blah 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 blah. But they're not telling you that American citizens are literally being poisoned on American soil.
hmm Do you watch I Survived? Have you ever seen that show before? Um, okay. I'm just double checking because I don't remember where they lived in this episode, but it was one of the episodes that like scared the crap out of me because where I grew up, like where I'm from, like where I was born and raised, was like locked in by train tracks. So like they would stop sometimes and you would just be stuck and like be late for school, late for all types of stuff like was impacted by these train tracks that like was like beside us and crisscross like at the other end. So yeah, if something like this were to happen, we would be done for.
Mhm.
Um,
What's
but
happened
there's
in Palestine, Ohio can happen in any town
mm-hmm,
that has train tracks. And I know we've got train
yep.
tracks and a whole train yard, not, far down there, down the road there.
I can't see. It says it's the episode is called Wayne and Mary, Holly and Linda on the I Survived show. I would recommend anyone to watch that episode if you want to be scared to death about, like, yeah, basically a train crashes with like chlorine gas or whatever.
I don't have to
And
watch a show about it. It's going on right now
yeah, true.
for our very eyes. I mean, all you have to do is dig into this story a little bit, and
Well,
it
did you
doesn't scare the living crap out of anybody.
did you hear about how the people in that town were so they've just filmed that movie about that exact same thing in that town where that happened. That
They're
movie White Noise.
white noise, yeah.
Yeah.
White noise. It's more of a satirical
Yeah.
take on it,
Yeah.
kind of a comedy thing, but it's real weird because this movie White Noise, which was filmed in was it 2018 or 2019? It wasn't long ago.
Mm-mm.
It's about the same scenario in the same town, Palestine, Ohio.
And
And
the
when you look
extras
at
were in the
Palestine,
movie.
Ohio on the
Like they're
internet,
living there.
just to, okay, Palestine, Ohio, tell me something about it. It's really classified as a village.
Mm-hmm.
If you look up the population and things like that on it. So it's not even really considered a town, it's considered a village. And these people are lower income people that, they don't have a whole lot of money to go spend on hotels or anything. So basically, what happened is on February 3rd, there was a train derailment, and there were about 50 cars that derailed on this train. And nothing ever happens in Palestine. Yeah, I'm sure it doesn't. It's a small village, is what it's classified as. But on this train that derailed, there were about 50 cars. There were toxic chemicals loaded up, and at least, what was I reading? 50 cars went off the track in Ohio, causing a days long fire in the area. 10 of the 50 derailed cars contained hazardous chemicals, including butyl acrylate and vinyl chloride, which were among combustible liquids that authorities feared could set off a major explosion. So they were asked to evacuate out of precaution, and on Monday, February 6th, 3 days after they had spilt all these potentially deadly chemicals out of this train because of the derailment, they decided to conduct what officials called a controlled release of hazardous chemicals, which caused a large plume of black smoke. Now, we all know what happens with smoke. When smoke goes up, it's got to come down. It's got to, you know, evaporate up in the air, and you still got the little fibers and chemicals and
Mm-hmm.
things like that are going to settle. And they evacuated these people. They decided to do a controlled burn instead of shit up, probably because of cost. It was a more cost effective way just to burn it off.
Yeah.
And it's literally pretty much what I've been reading and I've been hearing poisoned this whole town because they only evacuated them and paid for, hey, Lavina, yeah, supposedly a controlled burn, Jan. But they only
With the
evacuated
birds like falling
days.
out of the sky and stuff, like
Huh?
animals. I had
Yeah.
heard that like birds were dropping out of the skies and oh my god,
Well, and it's
I'm
crazy
so
because
sorry.
this is happening in real life right now before our eyes on American soil. They only evacuated them and gave them enough hotel fee for 5 days, and then they had to go back because these people don't have a lot of money. They don't have,
Yeah,
um, just
it's like
you
working class, you
cash
know.
laying around to go and stay in a motel. So when they got back to their homes, they could smell the shit up in the air. That was the first clue that something's not right. And their animals I mean, they've got a creek that runs through this town that's usually full of fish and frogs and, everything that you would expect to find in a creek. And all that's dead. I mean, it's dead, dead. Their dogs are having issues. Some of the neighborhood pets, they've come forward and said, our dogs are having issues. And you can look at these people on the news and you can tell they're not well. Have you seen interviews with some of these people that are currently there, Spooky?
No, I didn't get to see like the aftermath of that. I ended up getting into a rabbit hole though yesterday, but I didn't see the interviews.
Oh, you got into, yeah, you can go into a rabbit hole real easy.
Yes.
But these people are not well. If you watch Fox News, they've been interviewing the residents that are currently there, that were evacuated and have had to come out. You can, I mean, around their nose and their eyes, you can just see that these people are not well because they're breathing in all of these chemicals. And then
Yeah. How long were they there after it derailed? Like, did they evacuate immediately?
you what?
How long was it till they like when the train derailed? How long were they still in their homes and stuff before they fled?
I
Like this
think
stuff was in the
they
air.
probably evacuated on February 4th or because it derailed on the 3rd.
Oh, so they were home for
And
like
they kept the burn on the 6th. So they evacuated them somewhere between the third and the sixth. And then they told them
Sheesh.
to go back, I think, on the ninth. Let me see. I think they had to go back on the ninth. They were only evacuated for 5 days. So they probably
Yeah,
evacuated
that's
them
not good.
before, the day before the burn, and then made them go back.
Yeah, so they were breathing it all in as they were, you know, doing whatever, and immediately afterwards.
Well, yeah, because it was the chemicals and stuff. They didn't catch them on fire for three till the sixth, so they were still breathing in the few
Mm-hmm.
stuff. But they should have been out there immediately cleaning that crap up. Number one. But they said about,
Yeah,
"Oh, what do we do? What do we do?" From the third to the sixth, whenever they did the controlled burn, which was still not a wise decision to make. They had a senator go over there, out there, yesterday or the day before, and he went down to that creek and he took a stick and just kind of shuffled up some of the dirt and stuff, and you could see a rainbow film coming up out of the
right.
creek and coating the water where they had that stick in there because the
So,
chemicals.
what was the chemicals that did they say like
Yeah,
specifically? I think you said, right?
the chemicals were a mixture of vinyl chloride, which is used to make polyvinyl chloride, better known as PVC, which goes into plastic
Oh,
pipes, cable coatings, and packaging materials.
yep.
They also had hydrogen chloride, which, according to Federal South Registry, smells like freshly cut hay, can cause coughing, wheezing if inhaled. Didn't say what that's used for. Then they had ethylene glycol monobutyl, which clear colorless liquid involved in the manufacture of products including varnishes, paint thinners, agricultural chemicals, and industrial and household cleaners. It had butyl acrylate, and I'm
Mhm.
probably dissecting these words like really bad. Um, that is a clear, colorless liquid with the strong odor that is used for making paints, caulks, and adhesives. Then they had ethical acrylate, something. um, it's used in making paints and plastics and can irritate the skin, eyes, and respiratory tract. And last but not least, they had isobutylene. Uh, it's a flammable gas with a petroleum-like odor. It's used in production of isotate, a component of some gasolines. So yeah, these chemicals have that's what was on this train. And I know LTF or LFT, I think it's LTF Alicia, she lives real close to there. So she's supposed
Oh
to
my
be.
God, really?
Hmm.
I didn't know that she lives that close. I didn't even know she lived in Ohio.
LTF Alicia, or yeah, she said that
Yeah,
she's going to go out and take air samples and water samples, but I was like, man,
she's
they're
got a
going
bunch of little
to there.
kids too.
And then the EPA came out and said everything is okay. They did that yesterday. It's like they're covering it up, they're
Yeah,
because these people are on the news begging, we're sick, send help. Their animals are dying. They said there's
yeah,
not a bird in the sky. Yeah, real smart putting all of that on the same train, right, Jan?
yeah. And sometimes those trains just sit there. They'll just be
Here,
sitting. Like
Bonnie, good to see you, my dear.
there was one that was super. Like I could throw a baseball from my house and hit it, like the train tracks.
Hmm.
Like when I was growing up, and like I it was like not like a commuter train. It was, the ones they would haul, chemicals and all that kind of stuff. And like, yeah, like that. I used to be really scared that something like that would happen. I can't even imagine. Like,
Well, isn't this the second time this has happened in Ohio? And then they had a derailment, I think, yesterday. They said that,
yeah, there's one in Michigan too.
and a lot of it is caused because there's some kind of special type of brake or something that. Oh, Paul, that shit is happening 20 minutes from me.
Oh God.
Got the link posted at the top if you want to come up. And what was I going to say? But this is okay. So the EPA came out yesterday and said, we tested the air. The air quality is fine. And today, the White House denied them federal emergency funding, FEMA.
What?
hmm They said the excuse is that what they need is more expansive than what FEMA can provide. So what the
But
hell
they can
is
give Ukraine, $80 billion to do whatever, but yet their own people
hmm
can't get even funding for a hotel so that their children don't die.
Yeah, I mean, and okay, if it's too expansive for FEMA to go, they're like, oh well, FEMA, that they're mainly major natural disasters like earthquakes and hurricanes and stuff like that. Well, shit.
Well, an airborne toxic leak sounds
Because
like
gas
right up their alley.
our village in Ohio,
Did you get your drink?
and you can't even throw them a few bucks for a motel to at least get out of that
Right.
environment.
Ooh.
It is crazy. And then last night on Fox, and I don't know if this is true or not, but it was, hey, Clover, it was said that the people with the railroad, or either with the railroad, I don't know if it's the railroad's fault or if it's this one company's fault. That's where I'm um,
Here you go.
confused. I don't know if it's like the railroad or this one company, but whoever, if it's
Mhm.
the railroad or the company, anyways, representatives from them were going around offering $1,000 checks to the residents in exchange for them to sign a waiver.
Oh, so they
Yeah.
can get screwed out of the $1 million lawsuit coming.
Mhm.
Wow. That right there tells me, like,
Allegedly. That is alleged. Let me throw that in there because
yeah.
I live in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. It's down the street from me. Funny thing is, the local political people have not said shit to us about the dangers. It's it's horrific. It is totally horrific what is going on, and that's why I said when you were talking about that episode of I Survived or something like that,
Hmm.
they don't need to watch a Netflix movie or something on ID channel. Just
Yeah, that one
go
is,
dig
it
it.
was just scary because, like, they were trapped. And so there was, like, this, like, branch of whatever that was, like, people that would go into those situations and they couldn't even go. And like the premise of the episode was like their one of their relatives lived super close, but they couldn't go outside. And like the FEMA people or whoever, not FEMA, but whoever the people were told them, yeah, we got her, she's safe, and they really didn't. They like lied to these people, and the lady was like dead in her house, and like their keys started melting. All the metal in around them was like disintegrating from like whatever was in the air. Like oh my god, I was like horrified by that. And that was like a couple years ago. So when I seen that just on the other,
Yeah,
my old man sent me the picture. He's like, man, the birds are like dropping out of the sky and stuff. I'm like, oh my god, like that episode always stuck with me like that because I grew up super close to like the nuclear plant, and they send out little pamphlets that I used to read when I was little, and it would describe what to do in the event, like if there was stuff in the air, like your animals, like if you have livestock, you know,
hmm
sorry. Don't go outside, like cover your mouth with a wet cloth and like and get in a shower. It's like really scary stuff. Like
And it's happening in real life. That's
no, yeah, and you don't know like that train track that you sit at on the way to take your kids to school is hauling thousands of gallons of like dangerous, chemicals that some this could be like I don't know. I didn't see what caused this specific accident, but like the ones that they have like there's this one channel on YouTube that talks about like those disasters like that. And a lot of times it's like somebody in the rail yard, upper guy just makes a bad call and kills 47 people or whatever. That's terrifying.
mhm, it is. It's crazy how it's not being covered. Exactly, because Fox News is
Yep.
the only place that's really covering this. I mean, you watch your local news about it, they may say like a 15-second segment about it, and then it's like, we're not going to talk about this no more.
Right.
Which is something that needs to be talked about. I'm not trying to tragedy pimp it by any means, but it's not being talked about.
No, yeah, those people need,
We're going to
this stuff
get more information about
discussed.
this, but they still limit what you're here. I bet they are with you, Nicole.
Yeah, I can't imagine like living there and seeing like what the just flipping on the TV looks like, and you don't even know like how
Yeah,
many people
no,
probably went outside,
you're being gassed, pretty much.
literally and figuratively.
Anyone see the videos of people scraping the bottom of the creek and shit? Yes, that's why that senator that went out there, and I talked about this earlier, Paul. Um, they showed him on Fox News with a stick, kind of moving the dirt and stuff around at the bottom of the creek, and you could just see this rainbow-like film form over the top of the water because that's its chemicals coming up through the soil. I mean, when you catch something on fire and all that smoke goes up, and this was a big ass smoke cloud, black,
Mhm.
that went up, that shit's got to settle.
Yep. On all their like vegetables, anything outside. Like when that thing happened in the tsunami happened, and then it hit that nuclear plant, and then that stuff went in the air, and they were showing the what like the weather
Fukushima,
patterns. Yes,
Fukushima,
I could not think of the name. Yep,
Fukushima.
I remember that.
Yeah,
Yep, my
that
son was
was
just born.
and
Yep,
that's
and they were
where. Go ahead.
sorry. They were saying it was gonna come over into America and stuff. Like they had everybody freaked out. Like, oh no, like the wind's gonna carry it. It's gonna come over here and get us and stuff. Oh god, that freaked
It,
me out.
it's freaking crazy. It's a
Yep.
great shot for you to drive there. Well, I would love for either Witchy Nicole or P. Martin to come up here since they're like kind of right
Yeah.
here in the heart of it because we're watching what we can because there's not much
Mhm.
from a distance. Y'all are like right there in the thick of it. Good
Okay,
indication.
so it's like right on the border of Kentucky. Oh,
Let me pull it up in a map. I'll share a map in Palestine, Ohio. Zoom out of this so you can see the. So it's like on the border of Indiana.
yeah. I think I don't know what I clicked. It was like zoomed in super close. I'm trying to go back because my father-in-law lives in Hamilton, Ohio, which I thought was like kind of close to Cincinnati.
Off
And I
screen.
was seeing how far. I mean, I know it's far, but I was just curious how far. Because I grew up like 20 minutes from Ohio, but like at the top because I'm in Michigan, obviously. Um, that is so crazy.
See my screen? Let me make this a little bit bigger. Turn that off. Okay. Oh, that moved my marker whenever I turned that on. Dang it. Just amateur at the wheel here. Oh,
Mine did the same thing when I pulled it up. It like zoomed me way out.
that's how you close that. Okay. Let me see.
Was that the town?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, it's like so small.
It is. I mean, look at that. It's like on the border of Ohio and Indiana.
Yeah, I see. Okay.
Let me zoom out here. But it's a little bitty town, but when you look at the population of it, it's like 181 people. But there's more, I think it
Wow.
was within a 2 mile radius from Palestine out that they evacuated. So there was like, they evacuated like 4,700 people. I'm working at
And they
sneaking up.
can't put those people up
I'm at
for more
work.
than 5 days.
My kid kill me if I got on the live stream. He hates YouTube. Okay. Y'all be safe, good Lord. I guess I should replay this from the beginning. They really no, Clover. That's the thing. They evacuated them for like 5 days, and they did this big controlled burn of it, where this, hey, Kristen, big old black smoke plume went up into the air instead of cleaning the shit up. And anytime you burn something and it goes boom up in the air and you've got this huge cloud of black smoke, it's got to settle. They're pretty much
Yep.
poisoning, allegedly. Throw that allegedly in there, but
Yeah.
they're illegal on American soil. And I told my husband, because I was going to start talking about vampires today, but no, I think this is more important for Freaky Friday, because it's
Yeah.
pretty freaky if you really sit down and think about what's actually happening here. I mean, and it's a little bitty town. But let me tell you, if this was going on in a big city, they would have,
Hmm.
the military out there taking care of. I mean, they would have everybody out there.
Right. And then what Clover said about the water, like, yeah, like that, like everything outside is affected, like all your crops and vegetables and everything that, even minute particles could land on, especially if you're burning it. I'm sure that, I mean, it probably burned to some extent when it initially crashed, but then you just go ahead and light the whole thing up. That just seems so
It's not near Indiana.
backwards.
Oh, hey, what the fox? Can't say I have a husband and a son, both sick, and men when. Oh, yeah. Okay, well, my thoughts and prayers are with you, what the fox, because there is nothing worse than a man cold. I went through that a couple of weeks ago. It was,
Yeah. Oh my God.
they are dying. I was so glad to see, I was more glad to see him get well than he was. But, I mean, if you look at this town, it's little bitty. And they said they're lower income people. I don't know. But I know, they only gave them 5 days worth of hotel.
That is just crazy to me.
Where's the
And
railroad track? Where is the railroad track? I don't see a railroad track.
oh wait, no, Union City. That's a street.
Railroad track's gotta be around there somewhere. And then there's Indiana. So it's a good little trot, but it's still, see the.
I tried to Google it to see if there's like a picture of like, and I'm just getting like new picture like of the accident or whatever.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't be on Google Maps, I'm sure. I can't see. I don't see where there's a train track. Where the train track is. Let me see if I can do a search for Ohio train derailment map. Remove that.
So I'm looking like where I grew up, how the train's really close to my house when I grew up, and it's just a line, like a black line. I know that's what it is, so I can tell, but it doesn't say like
Oh, Ronnie,
train track.
Alicia said she's going to go out there and do air and water samples herself. Alicia's fine. She's wanting to go out, and I'm just like, no, don't go.
Right.
I would not go anywhere near there. What the fuck's for healing? And I know my husband's sick. The world is ending. Yeah, I did the whole man cold about 3 weeks ago.
Auntie, what's your email?
Huh?
Like, is your email public?
Yeah, it's
Oh, what is it really?
anti-side-eye at gmail.com.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna email you this
I
picture.
put in 901 Megan Avenue. It's a property I own, so I'm not doxing myself. Okay. 901 Megan Avenue, Newcastle. Is that MEE or was that a typo?
Wait.
There it is. Oh, that's how it's really spelled. MEGAN. Okay, what is this, Paul? That's how close you are to it? Where? Oops. You're not far, Paul. Directions. Palestine, Ohio. You're 4 hours from it. Let me share this. Hey, Lavina. Paul is probably closer than you are. No, you're not far from it at all.
Shoot. Uh-huh. So, okay, I see now. I was like froze for a second there.
Did you send me any?
Well,
You're
it came
34
back to me.
minutes away. I may have done that wrong, Paul. Well,
I
it
think
says
I typed it
Palestine,
wrong.
Ohio to your address at Newcastle. 4 hours, 47 minutes. There's Megan, there's Palestine. Am I looking at the wrong Palestine, Ohio? Is there more than one? Type in 213 Thorn Locust Lane, London, Ohio to Palestine, Ohio. Okay. 214 Thorn Locust Lane. Darn Locust Lane, Linden, Ohio. You're an hour and 23 minutes. Whoops. Here we go. I'm like zoomed way on in. Oh, so you're an hour. But this is, it's amazing that this is being even allowed.
Yeah, there should be way more help.
Let's see,
Even
Palace.
like in Flint, they're still having like that water crisis stuff
Oh
is still
yeah,
going on.
damn shame.
Mm-hmm.
Because that went on for years.
Yup. And I seen that like our local news talks about it sometimes. Someone sends them some water once in a while, but yeah, it's like can't even drink the water out there. It's all it's like a it's just sad.
If there's any recent news on it. And oh, Buttigieg, Booty Cheek, as my husband calls him, he ain't doing. And this is his.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, East Palestine does not currently qualify for FEMA after Ohio derailment. Ohio.
That's just weird.
This is
Like wildlife.
WTF.com. Let me share it. Your niece lived in Flint. She also passed from cancer. I'm so sorry. Clover, that's
Oh my
horrible.
God, Clover. Like, yeah, that's I've only went there a couple times. My friend got married out there, and oh, it's just like sad to think that's still going on.
Something went wrong. We drove there. Like, there's probably a problem between the chair and the keyboard pole. I probably put
He's
my
like
fingers
mad.
in, huh?
He's like mad. He's like, no, I live closer than that. Damn it.
No worries, kids will have 3 eyes. They will see better. That's not funny, but it's funny.
Hey, I've heard stories my whole life of people because I lived in like the 9 mile zone around the nuclear plant, which is like if crap goes down, like they're not gonna come help you. You have to shelter in place, kind of like that's where like the little booklets came in. That's why they would mail it to the house, whatever. But I've heard stories of
Malice.
people fishing and finding like messed up fish and frogs and stuff like that over there. So that is so true.
Mm,
They call
okay.
it the hot hole, where it's like warm and like the water around it, and people go swimming in it and fish in it. I don't know if they eat it, but they go and do stuff out there.
It's kind of like what you see on The Simpsons with Homer, right? His
Yeah.
plant, the three-eyed fish, and
Yep. And
it's barely 32. She didn't even know until it was
that's
too
so
late.
sad.
Ugh, that's horrible, Clover. Yeah, that Flint stuff pissed me off.
Mhm.
This will be a bigger issue. It's not now, definitely in a few years, unfortunately. Yeah. Well, the
Mhm.
people there are terrified, but they don't have the money to get up. And now it says, East Palestine does not currently qualify for FEMA after Ohio derailment. And here is it says Ohio will set up a medical clinic in East Palestine next week to engage with residents, answer questions, evaluate any symptoms, and provide medical expertise. In response to a request from Governor DeWine, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services will send federal officials to East Palestine to support the clinic. We know what the science says that East Palestine is safe. We know that the science says that East Palestine is safe, but we also know that residents are very worried, said Governor DeWine. They are asking themselves, is my headache just a headache, or is it a result of the chemical spill? Are other medical symptoms caused by this spill? Those are very legitimate questions, and residents deserve answers. Like they're going to be
Mhm.
told the truth. Do you really think these doctors and medical clinics that the government is hiring, I think they're going to go out there and do a smoke screen?
Well, Lonnie, you should make some good money
You know,
today, but
you're fine. These symptoms, it's allergies.
right.
You don't think the government is going to allow these physicians and whatever it is to give their medical expertise to tell these people, yeah, you've been gassed?
Nope.
Do you think they're going to allow that? So setting up a medical clinic, I mean, that's
That's just to pacify them. They're gonna think they're
okay.
gonna be getting help.
You
Yeah, she should make some good money. Right. Yeah. Like this, they don't have money for hotels. A lot of people live paycheck to paycheck. I couldn't go stay in a hotel for 2 weeks, like out
yeah,
of the blue.
70, yeah, 75 Paul says 75% is under the poverty level. These people are stuck and they
Mm-hmm.
died on FEMA, but they're going to send them this medical clinic. Says working with the Ohio Department of Health, Ohio EPA, and US EPA, Health and Human Services teams will begin seeing patients early next week. Teams will include national experts on the impact of chemical exposure. So these are all government hired people
Right.
that are going to go and blow
They
smoke
have one goal.
at asses pretty much.
Yeah, their goal is to not get sued. So they're probably going to pander to whatever narrative they have to prevent that.
Yeah.
And it's just there so the people feel like they're heard and okay, here's special doctors for you. I would be going somewhere else. I would not even go see those doctors at all. Wouldn't
Anytime
do it.
hear somebody say, I'm the government and I'm here to help, run.
Yeah. Run in the opposite
Seriously, the
direction.
government's not here to help you. These
Nope.
they are poisoning allegedly. I gotta throw that allegedly
Right.
in there.
Allegedly, in my opinion.
Americans on American soil. Wouldn't this
Yep.
be genocide?
Right. The one that I saw, so what happened is a guy, something happened where I first started paying attention. The train was sitting and it was smoking black and white smoke, and so he called his superior and told him, and he said, okay, just like park it, lock it up, whatever. Well, it was on a freaking hill, and at the bottom of the hill was a little town just like that. And I think it had 72 cars of like crude oil and whatever. So for some reason, he couldn't run all these tests he needed to do. So he put like the air brakes on and then did the hand brakes, but didn't test them properly and left it sit there. Well, like it ended up, I don't even remember. I'll have to like send the link of the video and you have to watch it. But basically, this guy was like, yep, it's good. Leave it.
Oh,
And they turned it off and it rolled down and hit this town and like killed all these people. Like, my God, I was literally, my jaw was on the floor. I couldn't believe. I think, and they ended up paying out $400 million or something like that, but it went to people from like the company, like that worked in the train company, got money too for some reason. Like, oh my God, it was so bad.
hey, Witchy Nicole,
Hello.
Oh,
welcome.
yay.
Yeah, I'd love to hear what your take
Yeah.
on this.
Well, we're only getting bits and pieces, like I said. We only have the news coverage from Columbus, Ohio, and they're only showing what they want to show, and it's only bits and
Mm-hmm.
pieces that we're seeing in the news.
So,
So,
are y'all able to smell anything where you are, or
no.
Because I say in Palestine, you can smell it smells like plastic or,
But like I said, there's a big city in between me and Palestine.
okay.
Dayton is in between me and Palestine. And Dayton's a pretty good sized city, so
Yeah.
How far is Palestine from Dayton?
that's a good question. Let me look that up for you.
Yeah, we know what happens whenever I try to look stuff up. I got Paul 4 hours away.
Well, the one that I saw, they ended up arresting the train operator himself, the guy who he was like paging to, like talking to over the phone about like what to do, and then they arrested like someone that was in like the rail commission or something. Like they ended up tracing back the chain of events to see like how it all came to be. So I wonder if something, because like, why did that train derail? I think I asked that, and I probably didn't guess what the
It
answer was.
derailed because of some kind of braking system, I think, and they had tried to change these braking systems. I think it's a braking system. Don't come at me if I'm wrong, but it's something to do with the mechanics of the train. And they've been needing to change this stuff out for
Mm-hmm.
years. I mean, back, they went through Bush, Obama, Trump, now
Well,
Biden.
that's the thing they said too on that video I saw last night. I think it was like dark something. I don't know. Anyway, they said that the changes they needed to implement were too expansive. So like I think
Yeah, it
maybe
was
a law had got passed about it, but they still
it was
haven't done the
too
changes
expensive.
yet.
So each administration denied
Mhm.
the budget for it, pretty much.
Palestine is
You
51
need door open?
minutes.
Huh?
Love you.
Palestine is 51 minutes from Dayton.
Dayton. I wonder if the people in Dayton are smelling anything,
They
or
probably are.
I would think because that was a big ass.
Yeah, that picture,
Yeah,
that was a huge plume of smoke. Yeah.
yeah.
But the
Even and
fact
my son even like knows about this. Like he was asking me about it. So like even kids in Michigan are hearing this stuff.
Oh, here we
He
go.
was like concerned.
It says emotional support because of the tremendous toll the train derailment has had on the residents of East Palestine. The Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services is supporting county alcohol, drug, and mental health board to ensure the residents know what resources are available. So they're going to probably just kind of program it into their heads. You
But
are
if you
so
were, I don't know if y'all would remember or not. Hinkley, California, they had a big thing with PG&E, the water company PG&E was using hexavalent chromium in their water, and they were sending their doctors to um and do checkups, medical checkups on the people of Hinkley, and they were telling them they were fine, but all in this time, these people are getting sick and getting cancer, different forms of cancers, and there was hexavalent in their water.
when did that happen in Hinkley?
Let me look that up for you.
Anyway, Hinkley, California. Known derailment.
It said that it was from 1952 to 1966, but people were getting sick even back in the 80s.
I believe it.
They they dumped 370 million gallons of hexavalent chromium in the water. And Aaron Brockovich, who is an attorney, well, she didn't used to be an attorney. She worked for an attorney company. Ended up fighting these people and getting justice for the people of Hinkley.
No, I
Mhm.
agree. I'm going to get those in the mail this weekend or Monday morning. I apologize. I haven't had a chance to do that yet, but they are going in the mail. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Aaron Brockovich is all over this one too. Have you read that? I got an article here. Aaron Brockovich urges locals to leave town as toxic train crash kills animals. It says East Palestine currently does not qualify for FEMA assistance, although FEMA is synopsis with disaster support. They are almost typically involved with disasters where there are tremendous home or property damage, such as tornadoes, flooding, and hurricanes. However, to ensure that East Palestine can receive assistance from FEMA should this disaster qualify for FEMA aid in the future, Governor DeWine is preemptively filing a request with FEMA to preserve these rights. So they're not giving these people anything. They're giving them a bunch of government officials to come in and tell them they're okay. Uh, you still there, Witchy Nicole?
Yeah, sorry, I had a phone call.
Oh, okay. So they're not going to give them FEMA assistance. They're not going to give them, they gave them 5 days worth of hotel. They made them go back home. Animals are getting sick. Animals are dying, allegedly.
Yep.
All the fish and everything in that creek is dead. Dead frogs, dead everything. These people are getting sick. And they're not just saying they're getting sick. If you see the interviews with some of these people that are in this town
Yeah,
on
they
Fox
are sick.
News, you can tell they're sick.
Yeah, they are sick.
You can just look at their faces and tell. I mean, they're red puffiness around the eyes. You can see red outlines around their noses, glassy eyes. I mean, I told my husband when we were out, well, you can look at these people and tell they're not well, that something's going on.
And the funny thing is, they're not really showing the people in the interviews that the news is doing here. They're not showing the people.
Turn it to Fox News.
Ain't
Fox
that
News.
funny? It's happened in Ohio, and they are not showing us that factor.
Well, of course they're not. They don't want you to panic. I mean, even on our local news here, they'll say about 15 seconds of something about it. Oh, yeah, town was gassed in Ohio. I mean, they don't say anything, but Fox News has been killing it on this coverage. And I'm usually not a Fox News person, but they've been killing it. Yeah, anyone that believes our governor gives a crap better wake up.
Exactly. And
Hmm.
I can tell you right now, Governor DeWine, his name is Devine, but we call him DeWine. He don't give a crap about us.
Mm-mm. No, because he's not living in it. He's in his little governor's mansion,
Exactly.
probably, well, he's in your state capital. If this had happened in a major city, they'd be all over it because it's a little bitty town.
Little town. Yep.
Palestine with income residents, they're not. I mean, it's just like, okay, we'll send them this little clinic filled with our people to say what we want them to say. And this is scary that this is not the first time this has happened.
Yeah, Palestine, Ohio only has a population of 181 people.
See, that's where I'm getting confused because is there a Palestine and an East Palestine, or is it because it keeps saying East Palestine on these?
Yeah, there is an East Palestine, yes.
How many people does that have in it? Because they said that they had to evacuate 4,795 or something like that.
East Palestine has 4,739.
Okay, so that's probably where it's getting. It says to date, the air has been sampled in 500 homes with no detections of volatile organic compounds, or VOCs, associated with the train derailment. More than 2 dozen additional homes are scheduled for air testing today. Teams are still taking appointments for those who wish to schedule a screening.
Yes, they're combining East Palestine and Palestine together.
So that's where they're getting the 4,700.
Right,
Okay. Because I looked at Palestine population while ago too, and I'm like, that can't be right. There's got to be something we're not looking at.
right.
It was probably spread to wherever the wind was blowing during that time, and shortly after, people
Yeah,
that were in a radius are probably going to get sick too. Yeah.
yeah,
And if
exactly.
they can't smell it like they can over in East Palestine, it doesn't mean that it's not in the air that they're.
Right. If you refer back to Chernobyl, people
Mhm.
were getting sick and they couldn't smell anything, but they were still getting sick.
And the same thing's happening at Fukushima
Yeah,
right now too.
exactly.
I mean, whatever goes up must come down, and that big smoke flume. Let me see if I can find a picture of it from that controlled burn. It's got to It's got to settle. Palestine train derailment images. Share this. The vegetation and the animals. Yeah, the animals are
Yeah,
getting sick. Uh, all of the animals in that creek are dead. They interviewed this one couple that said that their dog has been not acting right, and this guy that raises foxes, his foxes are like just sitting around doing nothing. They're like lifeless. Here's some pictures of the. Look at this. What? I don't want to get a CNN. Well, let's see what. See what y'all are saying. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's definitely gonna get through the air, and it is so crazy.
that's nuts. So you can't tell me that that didn't spread over the town and probably other towns.
for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, if the stuff in Japan could cross the ocean, you
Mhm.
know,
So
man, I
how many
remember
more
that
United States?
vividly.
How many more are going to be affected by this?
Right. And if you're, when you looked at that map, what did you see a whole lot of in that area? Farmland,
Hmm.
crops. That's what they do out there.
You think food prices are high now?
Right. And then, yet the water supply, the runoff,
And look
like,
at that.
And just like with Chernobyl, it wasn't
I don't know.
just Ukraine that was affected, it was Belarus and Russia as well.
Hmm.
Right. And I don't know if the season, like, maybe has any sort of impact. Like, if it being like really cold, if that's gonna, you know, help that situation not be as devastating.
Well, I
But
know there's been like a windstorm go through the United States.
yeah,
Windy as heck here. What's the
yep, here too.
heck where she's at?
Yeah, actually, I was at work the day before yesterday, and a transformer blew. It was the middle of the morning, and it still flashed.
Hey,
Like
Madeline.
super bright outside. It flashed like
Mhm.
lightning hit outside the window, and it just because the wind was violent that day.
Yeah, and the wind's been real violent here too as well, which is really concerning because not that far from it.
Right.
Well, not only that,
Yep.
Clover, the regulations on any agriculture being shipped from there, how far is this cloud going to reach? You got to think, hey, Nilbog, you got to think. We've got, I know it's been windy from all the way up there down to Texas this week. So, I mean, it's not only the agriculture and stuff from up there, how far is this going to reach? Because that's a big ass smoke plume of nothing
Yeah,
but
and those are
toxic.
toxic chemicals. Like
and
that
I
stuff
li-
isn't. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
and
Pertaining
where I live at is all farm.
purposes the federal line the pockets of our corrupt officials. Boom, truth. I wish I had Jamie's truth bomb because I would definitely give it to you right now, Nailbug, because that is exactly.
Out where I'm at, it's all farmland.
And that's why
Mhm.
I'm doing the stream because a lot of people don't really know exactly what's going on here. Because if you watch your local news, it's going to be like, oh, okay.
As,
Right.
as a matter of fact, Ohio State has an agricultural facility out here that they teach their students that are taking agriculture and you know stuff to do with animals. They're
Mhm.
teaching them out there at this facility out here where I'm at. And what happens if that plume of smoke just happens to blow this direction?
Mhm. And we've been having strong winds from the north. So, I mean, this is a windy week for the entire, at least, going up the middle of the United States.
Yeah, and our wind has been blowing in from Indiana.
Our wind's been coming down from all of y'all. Hey, David, anti side eye old hag. You just gotta love these people. You just, David, you're lucky I love you. You're lucky I love you a lot.
Hi, David.
So sad how our government screws over the American people. I mean,
Yep,
they. This is going to affect more than just Palestine, Ohio, and
hmm
that's. I mean, these people, yeah, they're right in the thick of it, and they're getting it worse than anybody. That's probably going to affect their health, but it's probably going to affect the soil, the vegetation.
You know something else that's sad is there's a military base right there in Dayton. Why couldn't they go help do something?
There's a what?
Military base
Because the
in Dayton,
government doesn't want them to help.
a large military base in Dayton, Ohio. Yeah, exactly. That's my point.
Population control. Yeah, I'm a clover. We may just start having tinfoil hat Fridays instead of Freaky Fridays. We may start having tinfoil hat Fridays or foil hat Fridays, call it that. Because what a lot of people dismiss as conspiracy, and people are just scare tactics and stuff, a lot of it's true.
Exactly. People just don't want to believe it's true.
Right. Because it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure a bunch of this stuff out. I'm going into conspiracy mode, Andy. I'm a big conspiracy theorist. I'll come out of the closet. So,
I'm right there with you, Auntie.
oh, okay. Well, I, today on Anti Side Eye, I have come out of the closet to y'all as a big conspiracy theorist, and
Hey,
I'm
I think it's absolutely founded to be like suspicious or side eyeing all of that. And like the
about
mom from
a lot of
like
things. The next world war will be over water.
oh
That could
yeah.
very well be true, Maudlin.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, it's like they're hiding these things in plain sight.
Mhm.
You want to put a true crime spin on it, it's hiding in plain sight. And that's what it's right under our noses. And people just brush it off. I can't resist the conspiracies either because look how insane things are. Only an idiot thinks everything is some outlandish conspiracy. Not everything, but a lot of it is. I have been since 2012, and it's only getting worse, to be honest. So everybody's coming out of the closet today on Anti Side Eye. You're with us all. Okay, Wyoming, good. So we'll
Hey
start
Wyoming.
Foil Hat Fridays because a lot of this stuff I do want to talk about. So, and but this right here, I mean, if people can't wake up and see what's going on, you're either dumb, deaf, dumb, blind.
Or
Jenny Ann.
brain dead.
Oh, you're good, Jenny Ann. We are a generation that had Agent Mulder as our imaginary TV boyfriend, Auntie. It's showing. Yeah, true. My husband got me into um, that show. Yes, I have a tendency to stay in the closet, but this is a cub the fuck on moment with this. Yeah, it is. I think I worded that wrong, Auntie. So I agree there that a lot isn't a conspiracy, but instead a fact. Okay, good. So now we're all out of the closet. We're going to start having foil hat Fridays. But we're going to talk about this until, the lack of coverage of this is very alarming. It tells me all I need to know. If it wasn't, if they were doing right by these people, it would be everywhere because they would want their attaboys for it. But they know they're wrong and they know what they're doing, so they don't want a lot of coverage of it out there. And if you don't believe that the government controls the media, think again because they do.
Exactly. Look at how much little coverage they're showing us who live in Ohio.
Right. They're probably showing you a bunch of propaganda.
They're showing only what they want us to see.
Right. I don't always end up agreeing with all of it, but I keep an open mind, and open mind is key to survival. Yes. You think the media is controlled by the government too, Wyoming? I think so too, because that would any any reporter would chop off their right arm to be able to cover something like this. Think about it. This is a big story, so why aren't more reporters covering it? They're busy covering Biden, spent $4,000 a piece on two missiles to take down a $12 kid balloon. So this would be something that they would, as a reporter, they would want to cover this, but they're not being allowed to. Is what's happening.
Right, and they also have to like keep the public calm. And if
Mm-hmm.
people start to get all upset and freak out, that's like the opposite of what they need. So yeah, I feel like that little clinic they're gonna bring in is just like a pacifier, and it's kind of
Yeah,
like offensive. Like, oh, we'll bring in special doctors for you guys so that to assure you. Like, what? That's so weird to
exactly
me.
spooky.
Yeah, I would be like, how about like how like the one people they arrested them, like,
Yes, why?
and then there needs to be measures to prevent that. Like, I don't even know what they could do, but I'm sure there's something.
The messed up thing is they're hardly covering this. But every day I sit and listen to the news, whether I want to or not, because my husband watches it,
Mm-hmm.
and you hear about a shooting every single day.
Mm-hmm.
For links on end about shootings. Every day there's at least one shooting in Columbus, but yet they have hardly touched the tip of the iceberg with this one.
They don't want you to know. They don't
Right.
want you
Well,
to.
that stuff gets views, but like when there's things where like any sort of like government agency could be responsible, oh yeah, they're all
Yeah,
hush
you know
hush
they're going to
and
cover that up.
Mhm. And
yep.
don't you think that if the government was doing what they needed to do, what they were doing, everything possible out here to clean this up and, you know, make sure
Be
these,
transparent.
it would be plastered everywhere.
Yeah,
All the news would be covering
exactly.
if
Right,
they
look at us.
were doing right.
Like the BP spill and how
Yay, I'm
it took a little bit.
fine. That's good news. They cover shootings because they don't want people to have guns. Yeah, that's exactly why they cover shootings. They want to make a big deal out of every shooting, whether it be your typical neighborhood shooting or what, but they won't cover something like this. They cover
Mm-hmm.
what's going to push their agenda is what they cover.
Yep.
And I don't care if it's Republican or Democrat, they're both in bed together.
Oh yeah, there's a
Think that
financial motive.
behind the scenes, these guys are shaking hands and doing what they need to do. There's a myth that only the right have guns. That's just not true. No, I know a lot of Democrats that are gun carriers too. Gun ownership isn't just a right wing thing. Auntie said off topic, but that goth gnome was the cutest gnome I've ever seen. Oh, dog. I'm doing a I'm doing a black and pink gnome, custom order gnome, black and pink angel on Monday on No More Dramas channel.
Oh, that'll be
Aw.
so cute.
It's a custom order from Morky's mom. So I got to get Audrey's in the mail, and I will do that. I promise. My husband has my truck today, so
Yeah, I'm home today, and then I heard back. So I did the exam for that job like my sister has, where it's like I did in the exam. I kind of did example ones, and it was like it was somebody's Google search, and then it shows you like not exactly where they are, but like the general like city, like a big circle over a city, and then it gives you all these like Google results, and then you rate them based on like,
You're okay. It's okay. It's okay.
is that exactly what they were searching for? Like kind of what like you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10 and like all of that. and that is a work from home. I've literally been telling everybody because I'm like, dude, I've never seen a like legit work from home jobs like that before. And my sister's been with them for like 3 years. So I did the exam on Friday and I just heard back today that I got that one. And then the building I was working in, that lady has been calling me like crazy. And I took the other cleaning job. So right now I have like 3 jobs I'm trying to juggle, trying to decide what I'm going to do. And it's like, I don't know. I can't make up my mind.
Decisions.
I know. I like the Airbnb
Democrat
one.
modeling. I have a lot of liberal and Democrat friends. I get along with everybody because I think both sides are corrupt. I'm neither.
Yeah.
Um, neither side.
My sister's husband's pretty like, mm, I don't know. Some of the stuff he was really big in the info wars and stuff like that. I kind of mute his Facebook feed from
Uh,
seeing it because he just shares like every post can find and gets himself all freaked out. But for the
I
most part, yeah,
I was heavy into politics, and then one day I'm just like, both of these people suck. I'm just
right, right.
I don't really get into the politics. Well, I do to a point, but I keep an eye on everything going on, but I'm not rooting for
Yeah.
one side or the other because they're behind the scenes. They're both corrupt.
Yep. There's money involved in all of that, so I don't trust anything any of them say because
It is the extreme on both sides that's causing the problems, Madeline. It's the yeah. I'm neither too. Unfortunately, I haven't voted since Bush Jr. ran last. That was my first and so far last vote. I do vote, but it's voting for the lesser of the two evils for me at this point.
yeah,
Our
I
government wants
voted.
divided. We need to stop that bullshit. The people have to show them that we aren't falling for the old divide and conquer crap anymore. Well, yeah,
Yep.
I mean, but some people are. That's what the problem is. And the people that are work to silence the people that are not. They will do anything to silence the people that, aren't falling for the BS. Both sides are radicals. Hmm.
Cool.
I mean, I can think of maybe a handful of politicians that are probably true blue, but it wouldn't be any more than five. It probably wouldn't even be five if I sat down and thought about it. I vote in everything, even cake baking contests, but my father barely still votes, so I use that right. But yeah, I exercise my right to vote, and I exercise my freedom to speech, the Second Amendment, as Mrs. P says. I
her
crack up
video,
when I say that. See that, huh?
her video today was probably my favorite one ever.
I haven't watched it.
It's
Me
like
either.
I made a little clip of it. I don't think I could play it because it's really foul, but it's like, you know what? F you. Something, 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 or something. It's just like the perfect little clip. I sent it to my old man. He wrote back when Costco doesn't have the rotisserie chickens.
Fuck you.
And I literally died. I'll
I'm
have to send it to you. It's
her
here, take your toy. Go.
because she is serious in them videos.
I know. Like
She's mad for
she
real.
she thinks that no one can sense how much she loves every bit of it, you know? 'Cause she does. Otherwise she wouldn't even log on. If people weren't emailing her, she would be freaking out. Why aren't they emailing me
Still
again?
thinking it's probably her emailing herself 90% of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do believe there's some people that probably, you know, for some pastime entertainment, mess with her. But
Riled up.
the ones where it was wrote exactly how she writes, that was so funny. Like, come on, dude.
And people just watch her for the shit show.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. It's so interesting to me. I just can't stop watching her.
I know it's like a train wreck. I don't watch her that much anymore, but I still see her community posts
Yeah,
come across
she
my.
blocked me like in the beginning when she first
Oh yeah,
blocked like everybody,
I've been
and I
blocked
never.
for a while.
Well, like I hated how she would come in somebody's thing, and the whole time it was, "Can you unblock me? Can you?" And then the whole like panel is her people just passing a message to her. I never was like, "Hey, unblock me," but eventually she did, and then I think she did block me again. Like whatever, man. I just watch and send like my sisters. They all know all about it. I send them all the funny stuff. They're like, "What is this? Like what? Like why? Just why?" Like I don't know. Can't explain it, but it makes funny clips to send around to like my husband.
I'm looking at her community wall right now.
Oh yeah, she was posting a bunch of like Christian stuff this morning. The one she did yesterday, you can hear her. She's like yelling at somebody, and in the background it goes. It's one of those like positivity videos, and it's like I will make changes for my life, and then the background, and then she's screaming at people, cussing over it, and there's like this positive affirmation like loop in the background. Oh my god, that was probably the funniest thing I've ever seen. Like, she's like ignoring it, ranting at
I'm
whoever she was
with
talking
the
to.
Catholic Church. I am proud to be a Catholic. Got the Bible.
Yeah,
That's a nice picture of the Bible, though. I like that. God loves you.
except for the
Please give
gutter trash.
to endure the situation, to find blessings and lessons that it contains. Please give me the endurance to continue ahead. Please guide my thoughts, words, and actions so that I walk in your path of peace and love. Well, that's nice.
Oh, if only she would
Always
mean that.
victory in what? Always victory in Jesus Christ. Okay, amen, Mrs. B. Amen. Amen.
Funny
Amen.
though that she's got all this Christian stuff posted and it just comes from I don't associate with gutter trash.
This girl loves Jesus. Don't get
I
scared.
can't get over that.
You
I
need
know the
Psalms
common everyday gutter
139,
trash.
13, special, Ephesians 2:10. Well, these are real nice little posts. Don't give up.
Yeah.
God will give you the strength you need to hold on. Morning, everyone. Just woke up to another piece of nasty street gutter trash.
Oh, good Lord.
As far as I'm concerned, I don't give a damn what you think about me. You can take that opinion of yours and just shove it. I don't give a damn about gutter trash losers like you, so there's that. I swear these hate emails just never stop. These idiots are desperate for content and attention. Well, these gutter trash, I continue to screenshot them, then block and delete them, but it seems they are desperate to keeping me riled up and pissed off. They are wasting their time, not happy. More about gutter trash. I
Well, at
love
the rate she's printing this stuff off, I'm worried about the rainforest because I don't think there's enough trees in the entire world to supply her the paper she needs to
well, that's
print all these
right.
emails. Like, who's buying her this ink, man? I needed printer ink for like a year, and I can't even bring myself to buy it. Her ink looks like pristine, like it's like brand new cartridge. That stuff ain't cheap.
No, no,
That's just what I see when I see those emails printed out. I'm like, God, that's got to be so expensive.
I am very protective of my computer ink. $50 for a cartridge of black.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And like, if you look at those ones that when the ones she prints out, like the ink, my ink's all blotchy and spotty because it's old. Hers is like crystal clear, looks brand new.
Oh yeah.
And she's got a stack of them that she's printed out. Every one. So I was happy to hear her say she screenshotted them instead of printing them off and then taking a picture of the printed email because
Well, she's gonna be
it's got to
on in
be
another month or so saying I can't pay my electric bill because she didn't
the
spend
printer
all her money.
smoking.
Hey, Dorothy, Samantha, Wyoming, Carrie, good to see you guys. Sorry, I was looking at Mrs. P's community wall.
The one right underneath the one that you just read is even better.
There's pretty crosses.
Where'd it go?
Person is desperate, so I posted a news hate email. It just doesn't seem to stop. Her
Oh, she
fight
took them all
dog.
down.
I mean, this is her
Seems
community
this
wall.
nasty gutter trash doesn't know when to stop bothering me with her hate. Look at this, you dumb bee. Hate email, which again should have been blocked which has been blocked for the third time tonight. Now leave me alone, you nasty, heartless C.
Miss Portland don't hold back. Mrs. Portland can tell you exactly what Miss Portland thinks. And then she's going to say she loves Jesus. Right.
The email says, "Listen here, you foul mouthed pig. First of all, you have a better mustache than my husband. And second, how's those positive streams going for you? Not so good since your nasty gums are still yapping. You don't even know when. You don't even know how I am. So go ahead and
No, I haven't, Samantha.
who I am. So go ahead and threaten with calling the proper authorities or whatever lie
Yeah.
you said. Get a life and get help, you nasty foul mouthed liar. Not F off, you attention whore. Have a great evening." Damn.
This girl loves Jesus. She's proud Catholic. I swear. She's a whole case study in itself.
Mm-hmm.
I crack up at her. She don't offend me. I just laugh. And she ain't got nothing better to do, bless her heart. Bye, Dorothy. Glad you came by. Good to see you. But I just wanted to bring awareness to this thing that's going on in Palestine, Oklahoma, where allegedly the residents are being gassed and poisoned, and the food supply is being poisoned. And God only knows how far of reach this is going to have throughout the United States, especially since this has been a windy week for everybody. And the wind's coming out of the north, which means it's blowing it. And our government is not doing anything to help.
Nope.
Even denied them FEMA resources. She's giving her email out again. That lasted. She's. God. She autoplayed on my TV I was casting to yesterday. I walked back in my living room and Mrs. P's going to town on someone. Well, it's everybody else's fault because they're keeping her riled up.
Mm-hmm.
Poor Mrs. P. Everybody just needs to leave her alone. I ain't saying nothing bad about her. I'm just laughing at the situation. So we've managed to cover what's going on in Palestine. I'm going to be giving updates on that too. I'll probably be talking about it while I'm crafting and yapping because it's insane. It's downright scary to know that this can't not only can happen, it does. Yeah, all you can do is laugh at Mrs. P at this point. They denied FEMA their serious chemicals all over from that spill, right? Yes, Kim, they denied FEMA to them. But, don't fear. They're setting up a medical clinic there in East Palestine with government officials pretty much as doctors and um, counselors and people like that, offering their expertise to the victims of this and probably going to tell them, don't worry, everything's okay. Meanwhile, they're getting sick, animals are dying. Um, there's not even any birds flying there anymore because of the toxic chemicals that are in the air. Their water supply is getting tainted. Yeah, a medical clinic with government officials. Let me find that again, Nilbog. This will blow your mind.
And I'll keep Auntie updated from my end since I'm close to it.
Oh, yes, thank you. Let me see what Palestine.
Yeah, it says dead fish and chickens already. That's, pretty fast.
Where is that article I was reading? Oh, wait a minute, I got to do it. Tools.
You gotta eat your food.
Hour. Yeah, here it is. I'll read it again.
Go on.
Wait until you see this, Kim. Health clinic to open up next week in East Palestine as health worries linger. It says, let me go down. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it says early next week, the state plans to open a medical clinic in the village to evaluate those who are worried and evaluate their symptoms. The clinic that will include a team of experts in chemical exposures that is being deployed to Eastern Ohio. These are very legitimate questions, and the residents deserve an answer. DeWine said, while also emphasizing that the testing inside and outside of the home in the village had found no signs of toxins that were on the train. We're doing absolutely everything we can to assure the residents to what the situation is, he said. I understand that people have been traumatized. I understand skepticism.
That's just our local asshat government trying to sugarcoat it.
About the
That's our government.
That's not the one I was reading earlier though.
That's the governor, DeWine.
It was from WTRF. Let me see. News. Because it said it was titled FEMA. Oh, here we go. Where is FEMA in East Palestine? East Palestine does not currently qualify for FEMA after Ohio derailment. Yeah,
I wonder
data
what
collecting.
the Facebook groups are saying. Yeah. Like, I bet there's like locals, people like within the town.
It says Ohio will set up a medical clinic in East Palestine next week to engage with residents, answer questions, evaluate any symptoms, and provide medical expertise. In response to a request from Governor DeWine, no thanks, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services will send federal officials to East Palestine to support the clinic. We know that the science says that East Palestine is safe, but we also know that residents are very worried. They are asking themselves, is my headache just a headache, or is it a result of the chemical spill? Or other medical symptoms caused by the spill? Those are very legitimate questions, and residents deserve answers. Working with the Ohio Department of Health, Ohio EPA, and US EPA, Health and Human Services teams will begin seeing patients early next week. So these are all government officials that are um, running this clinic. So, do you really think they're going to tell these citizens the truth? So, they're going to set up that, and it says emotional support because of the tremendous toll the train derailment has had on residents in East Palestine. The Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services is supporting the county alcohol, drug, and mental health board to ensure that the residents know what resources are available. In addition to local resources, the Ohio Care Line is open 24 hours a day and staffed with well trained medical health professionals who are there to listen and help. All calls are free and confidential. Sure, they are. It says East Palestine currently does not qualify for FEMA assistance. Although FEMA is synonymous with disaster support, they are most typically involved with disasters where there's a tremendous home or property damage, such as tornadoes, flooding, and hurricanes. However, to ensure that East Palestine can receive assistance from FEMA should this disaster qualify for FEMA aid in the future. So I guess when people, start falling over dead or whatever, they're gonna say, okay, we'll let them have FEMA. Governor Devine is
Auntie,
preemptively filing a request with FEMA to preserve these rights.
I just put a link in the private
Jenny,
chat for a post on Facebook.
okay.
Um, and if you wanted to show it, you don't really have to read it, but there's some really cool pictures. And then somebody just said that they already put a new track down. They flew over top, and that it's looking like there's already new tracks there, and it's like already ready for more trains. So that was like their top
They've
priority.
already had more trains go through there from what they said last night.
Yeah, that's freaking crazy.
Let's see what this.
Hi, Jenny.
Hi. Hey,
Hi,
Jenny. Hi.
beautiful.
Okay, it says toxic disaster. If you haven't yet heard about the train derailment in Palestine, Ohio, there's a reason, not the least of which is the arrest of the sole national reporter at one of the first press conferences. There are fish and small animals, chickens, cats, dogs, etc., dying. And even large mammals like horses are getting sick. We burned off massive amounts of vinyl chloride to avoid an explosion, but the chemicals released bind with water, which is now leading which which is now leading to acidic rain falling in a large area downwind.
Great.
So that acidic rain, that's the stuff settling. That's the chemicals and stuff that are settling over the area. This is a place between Cleveland and Pittsburgh and not too far from Columbus and Erie. Aaron Brockovich is already on the case advising people who live there to get out of harm's way if they can and to document everything they see. It's going to be an impact felt for a generation or more. I can only do my part to raise awareness and to encourage anyone who knows people in the area to take action and defend themselves. Many issues stem from this, particularly rail safety. And not only will there be blame spread to all sides, there is already a strong disinformation campaign claiming that it's a black flag event in social media. I don't encourage getting swept up in those debates. I'm simply asking for people to help those in harm's way to protect themselves. For those that are not aware of what vinyl chloride is used for, it's the VC of the PVC, as in PVC pipes, etc. The burning, however, creates another chemical called phosgene, which was a chemical used in World War I and is deadly toxic.
See, I said it was going to be another Hinkley. I called that one.
Hmm.
I said that it was going to be another Hinkley. They got Aaron Brockovich on it, so yep, it's another Hinkley.
And this is scary. What was the reporter charged with? Yeah, I remember there was a reporter there. Let me see if I can find a reporter arrested in Ohio. It comes right up on my Google search. Charges were dropped, but it says he was arrested at a press conference for trespassing. Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost said that News Nation reporter Evan Lambert was lawfully present at Governor Mike DeWine's press conference last week. So they dropped charges against him. So trespassing and resisted arrest charges were dismissed Wednesday against News Nation reporter Evan Lambert, who was arrested at a press conference last week about the East Palestine, Ohio train derailment. My office has reviewed the relevant video and documentary evidence and is dismissing the charges against Evan Lambert as unsupported by sufficient evidence, Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost announced Wednesday. While journalists could conceivably be subject to criminal charges for trespassing in some situations, this incident is not one of them. The reporter was lawfully present at a press conference called by the governor of the state. His conduct was consistent with the purpose of the event and his role as a reporter. Lambert had been charged with resisting arrest, a second degree misdemeanor, and criminal trespassing, a fourth degree misdemeanor. According to News Nation, Lambert was doing a live report while Ohio Governor Mike DeWine spoke at a press conference about the cleanup efforts following the train derailment in a small Ohio village, prompting law enforcement to ask Lambert to be quiet. So he must have been asking some hard questions that they didn't want to be asked.
Right.
News Nation said that Lambert concluded the segment before being asked to leave. Multiple videos from the incident show officers arresting and subsequently forcibly removing Lambert. I'm still processing what was a traumatic event for me in the context of a time when are hyper aware of how frequently some police interactions with people of color can end in a much worse circumstances. That is not lost on me, Lambert said in a statement. He continued at the same time as a journalist who has spent more than a decade covering crime, courts, and more recently federal law enforcement. I have great respect for the officers who do their job each day with integrity, civil rights, justice, and safety at the core of their mission. Devine's office said he did not see the incident but heard a disagreement, according to his press secretary. Regardless of the intent, arresting a journalist reporting at a press conference is a serious matter, Yost said. Ohio protects a free press under its constitution, and state officials should remember to exercise heightened level of restraint using the arresting power. So they arrested him, which he was probably in there asking hard questions.
And
And
they don't like it.
so they
He got arrested for
drop the
questions.
charges, after the fact. So they detained him or got him out of there, so that the questions couldn't be asked, and then they dropped the charges so that they didn't look like a bunch of assholes. So they think.
Stupid, stupid, stupid.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
So this is happening in real life, folks.
Yeah.
Real life happenings. Samantha say we had a chemical spill from a train last year that went into a creek where the trophy trout fish are stocked every year. To this day, we've got no answers. Hundreds of fish or wildlife were killed. Yeah, this isn't the first time, and it's not going to be the last. I mean, if you live, and it doesn't even have to be like a train derailment, it could be anything that would cause, a tanker carrying chemical. You don't know what these big rigs carry. It's not just on the trains. And so I'm going to go buy a gas mask or something. Just know
Yeah,
it makes you want to
you
go
should
buy
have
it.
that stuff.
Hmm?
Yeah, you should have that so that you never know. And then when you're literally on your own, when that event does actually happen, you won't be able to find that stuff, you know?
No, no. I mean, look at what happened to toilet paper just because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
and and tissue paper.
Yeah, and tissue paper, any type of
Well, I'm gonna hop
paper.
down.
Yep.
Yep. See you, Nicole.
Take care,
Bye,
guys.
Witchy.
Thanks for coming
Bye.
up.
I'll be in chat.
Okay. Yeah, stock up on water. I mean, we've got it. It's that's something that you will always need. Just if it's in plastic bottles, kind of make sure it's drank over the year and replenishing
Right.
because those plastic bottles do turn toxic. We have them because of a big threat of earthquakes. Is is gas leak line breaks? Yeah, you know houses. We've had it happen here. Just blow up.
Yep.
Yep.
I just can't believe FEMA's like, sorry, you'll be fine.
Luckily, I live far enough away to be safe, but it breaks my heart, Nicole. The old people up there live on that creek and fish daily, and now it's a dead zone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you, Samantha, did you see the footage of that senator going up there? And he took a stick and kind of in the creek and kind of, twirled around the dirt and stuff, and how the top of the water got that rainbowish film over it from the toxins coming up out of the soil in the creek where all the fish and turtles and frogs and snakes and everything are dead.
Look at that good too. My butt is savage today.
Yeah, Nightbot is that
Well, it's
savage.
people are not bitching about my night butt.
No, you change it.
They're bitching at your night butt today.
Well, why is this not showing? There we go. Because a lawsuit would make the company pay for all the damage, so they are sacrificing the harm to people and animals and environments in the meantime. That's my guess. Well, allegedly, and I don't know if this is true or not, but allegedly, now Fox News last night said something about some people are these officials with either the railroad or the company. I can't. I get confused on that. If this is actually the whole railroad commission or if it's a company that owns whatever in these cars or owns these rail cars or whatever. But anyways, there were officials with whoever going around offering these people $1,000 check in exchange for signing a waiver. And these are lower income people.
Yeah.
I hope not many of them are doing it. But that $1,000 to some of these people is like gold.
Oh, yeah, that could solve a lot of their problems at the moment.
They're just seeing the dollar signs and not realizing what they're actually signing.
And that's preying on them. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, how did that, like, who was saying that? Like, I know it's like allegedly, but like, was it
Jeff
on like,
Waters, I believe, last night on Fox News said that he had heard some of that going around. Now, he interviewed a couple of people from the town or village of Palestine, and they said that they hadn't been approached by anybody, but that doesn't mean that other people, it doesn't happen
mm-hmm.
other people, so they really couldn't confirm or deny that it was going on.
Right. Well, if it did happen, it would be
Yeah,
super on the
you know
sly.
that
You know, they
it's
won't be walking around like,
communicated with him.
hey.
What?
Yep. They'd be
I'm
really
sorry.
discreet. Oh, they would just be really discreet about,
Oh
if
yeah,
it
they're
was
not going to
happening.
announce it. Mm-hmm.
I believe
Apparently,
it. I do.
too. I believe it. But I think
I
from
bet
here
they're.
going forward, we're going to start having foil hat Fridays. Fridays are going to be conspiracy days instead of. We can do some Freaky Fridays too, but there's a
You'd be good at that.
what conspiracy stuff.
Freaky Fridays.
Oh yeah, we can do Freaky Fridays too. But and I was going to talk about vampires today because I found some really interesting stuff out about that. But this is just like my blood has been boiling all week over this stuff. But I wanted to make sure that I really had a grasp of what was going on before I even tried to talk about it. I've just been
Oh,
kind
yeah,
of
that kind of stuff happens.
investigating it all week. You can talk about vampires modeling. Actually, they're very sanitary from what I've been reading. And yes, there are actual people who want to be vampires and actually drink blood.
No.
Yep,
I
I saw a thing about that.
vampires. You came for the
When,
vampire. This conversation is way more important and needed to happen. Yeah, that's the way I felt about it too, Neil Bog, because
that's when we chose our blood. We cut ourselves, we go,
no, there's people that like drink it.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean, we always do that when we cut our finger. But yeah, I just felt because there's no coverage on it. There might be on YouTube, but there's not any media coverage on it. And I just felt it was important because the coverage that you do see on it is like really glossed over and sugar coated.
Right, and there's a lot of people, like older residents that don't know about YouTube, and sure
Yeah.
hope like everybody like that has a loved one in that area is like making sure that they're good and they're aware of what's going on because yeah, once the public starts to freak, all hell is going to break loose there, and they cannot have that.
Oh no, 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 no. They
And
want to
then in
get
the one,
$1,000 checks and them waivers before people realize what's really happening.
Yeah.
yep, the channel I was watching is called Dark History, and they go over like all these, derails and all the stuff that happens. And in the one I was watching last night, they arrested the people, and then they ended up um, being acquitted of all charges like afterwards. But I mean, there was a death toll. Nobody died in this one, right? I don't think.
Um, I don't
Don't think
think
so.
humans died from it. Let me see. Did
Which
anyone?
shouldn't matter. It should be just as, serious regardless, but
Yeah,
that might be why they
nobody was
brought
hurt in
like
the accident.
criminal negligence or whatever because the guy didn't put the right brakes on and left the train sit there and it killed everybody. But still, if that stuff is put in place where they are accountable, maybe there will be more precautions or the trains aren't being driven around with axle problems like with tons and tons of these chemicals driving past schools and homes and water systems and stuff like that. It is just reckless. And it should take loss of life or loss of, you know, however much money the rail people lost, they shouldn't come to that before they do stuff about it.
Let's see if there's any White House defense response to toxic train derailment. Yeah, they're defending it because they're wrong.
Hmm.
They're calling for congressional action after the train derailment. Let's see what this is. Pittsburgh. From the Pittsburgh News Review. After decided the train derailment on Thursday that he wants to see Congress and federal agencies take actions to make railways safer. Yeah. So they're going to take out, but and that's all good and everything, but what are they going to do for these people right now? But yeah, they need to put in some kind of legislator or legislative action. Let me see, sort by.
Associated Press is saying like, oh, people are like posting things and it's it's wrong, like about like the water sources and stuff. Like they're
Yeah, they don't
already
want posting about the.
yep. It makes them look bad. Oh well. Let's
Does
start
it say?
seeing some financial help for these people who like if something like that was to happen to like my family today, we would be screwed.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't go pay for a hotel for 2 weeks or you know
No,
you know what I
and
mean?
it
Like
sure can't.
yeah, that's crazy. I mean the general public
This
can't. And that's $1 billion industry, like, and that's all they're doing. No,
disappointed with the White House over this, but are you really surprised at their um, response to this?
yeah, true.
I
It's
mean,
about par for the course with like the way that crap
and
goes.
especially because it's a little town with people that live on low income. Yeah, people cannot afford to just uproot their families and move out of town. And do you
No,
think they're really going to be able to sell their houses? Do
nope.
you really think these people are going to be able to sell their houses in order to have the money to move?
And because like the long term effects, no one's gonna know. What so anyone who's like got a check from the bank ready to buy a house, they're gonna do their research. They're not gonna buy any houses that were affected by any of that. They're just
No,
Yeah,
not
they're
gonna do that.
any houses within a 20-mile radius.
Right. So those
That
people basically got screwed over and they're
mm,
like, you're fine.
you're fine. Don't worry about it. Yeah, your water's safe to drink. The air's just
Mm-hmm.
fine. There's nothing. Oh,
Right. Those animals had other
all
illnesses.
them fish died of natural causes.
Right.
and, and years later, you're popping up blood and headaches and tumors
Yep.
coming out.
Anybody who's
So,
pregnant right now, who knows what'll happen when they give birth
Oh,
if they were
yeah,
exposed.
defects and stuff that could come from that.
Mm-hmm.
What is happening? Terrible, terrified people. I live an hour and a half from Ohio. I have family that lives 45 minutes from there. It's upsetting. It is. And the lack of coverage on this is even more upsetting because they don't want people to know.
Right. And then the Associated Press, instead of posting anything beneficial, they're just saying, "Oh, you guys are posting, untrue things, and it's freaking people out. So stop."
Associated. Let me see if I can find
Yeah, I
that.
think it was like one of I think I just searched that New Palestine Railroad track, and it was like one of the articles.
Let me
I had a
see.
filter by like recent.
Kill order for New Mexico feral cows issued by officials. Well, that's nice. Let me see if I can. No, I don't search Palestine.
Here, I'll put the link to this one in the chat. You know, think about that. Okay, there's the one that I saw. I don't know when it's from.
Yeah, that'd be easier because I can't. My family and me
Yeah,
have children.
from the
Them
15th.
stay with me. People have no money to even help them. Yeah, it's low income. People don't have the
Yeah.
money to get a motel or move or anything, and they gave them enough for 5 days.
That's why I believe that, that thing about giving them that checks.
Hmm.
That
That's alleged.
that
I
just
mean, people
sounds.
that are there said that they couldn't confirm or deny it.
Mm-hmm.
And I put pop up on it and get the morning one. And I don't want to get on your email list. Okay, there's the
Go
X.
on. Go on.
Do not want on your. Okay, here it is. Let me share it. So they're calling everybody liars, basically, is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Go back over here to comments. There we go. So this is from the Associated Press on February 15th, which was 2 days ago. It says claim everyone living in the Ohio River Basin as shown in the yellow area of the map should be concerned about the safety of their drinking water after the derailment of the train in East Palestine, Ohio, contaminated the river. AP's assessment says this is false. The map shows the region of the land whose surface water drains into the Ohio River, not the region that gets its drinking water from the river. Many counties in the map get their drinking water from other resources, expert says. Contaminants, including butyl acrylate, have been detected in the Ohio River, but the amounts so far don't pose a risk for cities that rely on the river for its drinking water, according to the Ohio Environmental Protection Agency and outside experts. So it's in there, but it's not enough to to do anything.
Right.
The facts: a February 3rd train derailment in Ohio and the decision to intentionally release and burn toxic vinyl chloride from 5 of its cars to avoid an uncontrolled explosion have sparked worries among residents over whether their air and drinking water are safe. Now, like I said before, when you catch something on fire and it creates this big ass smoke plume, I mean, and this thing was huge, this crap has to settle. It's got to settle somewhere. So what goes up must come down. And just because you got
Mm-hmm.
it on fire doesn't mean you got rid of it. There's still particles in that cloud that's going up that's got to settle. So it settled on the town, and God knows how far the reach of this is with all the wind and stuff we've been having this week, because it'll settle and it also blow. Another Flint. Yeah, brutally honest, exactly. And it says they've also generated a number of misleading and hyperbolic online claims about the degree to which the Ohio River and its surrounding states are affected. Social media posts with tens of thousands of shares this week use a map of the Ohio River drainage basin, which touches parts of 14 states, to falsely claim that the entire region needed to be concerned about contaminants that have been detected in the river after the derailment. One widely shared post claimed that the contamination of the river was extremely concerning to anyone living in or near the yellow area, referring to the Ohio River basin on the map. So they're However, officials said areas in central Ohio were unlikely to be impacted, and water quality experts say the idea that the entire Ohio River basin needs to worry about its drinking water is wrong. The concentration level of butyl acrylate, however you pronounce that, the only contaminant of concern that has been detected in the Ohio River is much lower than the threshold considered hazardous, according to Patrick Ray, assistant professor of environmental engineering at the University of Cincinnati. So when they say that it's much lower than the threshold considered hazardous, what do they mean by hazardous? Hazardous as in you drink it and you're going to throw into seizures and, be not be alive within the next hour, hazardous, or do they mean hazardous by it's not going to cause any long-term effects?
Right. It needs to be based on whatever their standards are when they do any testing at all. If it doesn't meet that, you know what I mean, then it should qualify for like help
Well,
or
their
whatever.
definition of hazardous is probably a lot different than my definition of hazardous, because to me hazardous can mean 10 years from now I'm going to get cancer from it, but I bet their
Yeah.
definition
Yeah.
is immediate reaction.
Yeah, I think
I guess
they're playing on.
unless it makes them more money. If this were a big profitable city, they might would do so. Yes, but the fact that it's a small town and it's people that live below that live, it's a low income area, because
Right.
Paul said people like barely people live below the poverty line in that area, and he's from over there. First, they have to admit it's dangerous. Yeah, and they're not going to admit
Exactly.
it. That's why they're sending those government officials in there to this clinic that they're setting up to tell people, oh, your headache is, it's the allergies. The fact that, your eyes are red and puffy and there's red all around your nose, it's allergies, which is what I see on these people when they interview them on the news.
That's so scary. Like you physically see like distress on them and they're trying to play it off like that.
Hmm. They're lying about all of it. I talk to my niece every day. She's a nurse in Ohio. I believe they are. And I believe that, everybody needs to bring awareness to this.
Yeah.
So not seeing a lot of awareness being brought to this.
There's going to be some lawsuits and
And I think
hopefully
people are, if that story is true, that they're allegedly handing out $1,000 checks and waivers, because a lot of these people, they're going to take that money not really understanding
right.
what's going on. They're going to see the dollar signs. They're not going to think about their futures in this.
Right. They're probably right now trying to figure out how to get their children somewhere safe just so they can collect themselves and figure out what to do next. And they're preying on that desperation and knowing because $1,000, come on, you know what I mean?
Burns says hydrochloride. Let me see over here. Let's look up what Carrie just posted. Hydrochloride and hydrogen chloride. Let's see, let me. There we go. That was what? What is the reaction of fluorine?
Her gave you some info now.
Who? Oh,
Her gave
here, D. Welcome. That for it's not really saying what.
Uh,
What
and
is it can be thought of as formaldehyde with the
Oh,
hydrogen
great.
replaced by chlorine atoms. What does it do to the body? Poisoning caused by phosgene depends on the amount of phosgene, however you pronounce it, to which a person is exposed, the route of exposure, and the length of time that person is exposed. It's gas and liquid or irritants that can damage the skin, eyes, nose, throat, and lungs.
Have you ever noticed when you buy certain things, like I've seen it at like stuff from the dollar store where it's like there's like a little warning and it's like proposition something. It like is a California law that they passed because the item contains some level of that formaldehyde in it. I'm trying to think what it was I bought. And I was like, what the hell is that? And it was like some nationally produced thing. So like they put the label on, even though I'm in Michigan. It's like a warning for people in California. There's a law that because there's certain amounts of whatever in this thing, they had to put the label on, the warning on it. So yeah, that's pretty serious if that's what. Get out. I don't care if it's
Check
your
this
birthday.
out. We do a control plus.
Cool.
Check this shit out. Oh, Amazon's just delivered. um, I'm not,
go to your door now.
well, they delivered my husband's new coffee pot.
Ooh.
Mustard gas is similar to phosgene gas in that much of what is known regarding its specific effects came later after World War One, with some shocking delayed manifestations occurring later in life for soldiers exposed to mustard gas during the First World War.
Is
So,
that Agent Orange or whatever?
mustard gas, yeah, I guess. So
Yeah, because I've
basically,
heard
they
about that.
gassed the whole community.
Wow, they are so fucked,
It just keeps getting worse and worse the more you look into
dude.
this stuff. So basically,
Yep.
a whole community in America has been gassed, allegedly, basically, from what we've read. I've got to throw those terms in there.
Right, allegedly.
And the government ain't doing shit about it. They're telling them everything's okay.
Right, and I saw that comment that she said, where'd it go? People and children that are vomiting for hours and can't keep anything down. Their eyes are burning. Yeah,
All the fish are
I would
dead.
be going to a doctor out of that area and see what they say, you know?
Yeah, because all of the people that are going to be working in this clinic are government officials.
Right, or maybe their bosses are like, yo, play it cool, even though that's against your like oath or whatever. But
Mhm.
like, again, don't let the public start to panic because then there's a whole nother problem on their hands. They've got everyone docile and in their homes and right now. But once all that stuff starts to happen,
No, these people are not docile in their homes by any means. They're like seriously concerned.
well, yeah, that's what I was trying to see. Like, I just searched that town on Facebook and seen like posts from that area, and like that's people are like flying their own drones and stuff and looking at things, like trying to get like a how my face go like a because they think the news is full of crap. They don't trust
Yeah, but if
anything that
y'all
they're
want
saying.
to get a halfway true story on what's going on, tune into Fox News. They are killing it on this coverage. Fox News at night. I don't know if they're talking about it during the day, but my husband is like a Fox News fanatic.
Hmm.
Me, I'm not much into it anymore. I used to be, but I was like, man, these people. But this, they've been killing it. Your local news is not going to tell you anything. You may get a 15-second segment on it, and it's just going to be a brief bunch of nothing. I told my husband 2 days ago, man, I'm going to switch my. If I hear one more thing about this, I'm going to switch my Friday stream from vampires to this. And sure enough, I mean, it just keeps getting worse and worse. It just the more the more I hear, because my husband, he's got to watch his Fox News for 2 hours every night.
Yeah.
So I've been paying attention to it because I'm just like, this is crazy.
Yeah, like my old man sent me an article with that picture, and he was just said like something about like there's birds falling and all that stuff, and I was like, oh my god, I was working so I couldn't read it, and then my sister started sending me a bunch, and she's like, oh my god, what the hell's going on? And I'm like, I don't know. So it took me a minute before I was able to sit down and like look into it, but
Hmm.
growing up where I did, like if sometimes the trains would just stop and just sit on the tracks and like that happened like not all the time but a lot and you were stuck like I would be late to work sometimes because I never worked, it was like the immediate street like where my house was at the end of that road was a train track and then like you would turn and then two more intercepted and then like it was like a big um like intercepting train tracks. There's like three different lines that intercepted right there. So beside you, in front of you, and on your other side, you could not leave. You would literally be stuck there. And yeah, like I can't even imagine something like that happening there. I was just like, oh my gosh.
It could happen anywhere.
That
Yep.
It could
I
happen
don't have any
anywhere.
super close to me anymore, but like, yeah, that's terrifying. And then to be totally like I tell you right now, my kids were sick and coughing and vomiting. Oh my fucking god! Like,
Yeah, your kids are sick, coughing, and vomiting. You're low income. You probably don't have any medical insurance, and the government is blowing
right?
smoke up your ass, telling
Yep.
you it's all in your head. Is basically what's going to be going on at this clinic.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know it is. They're going to be saying, "Oh, it's nothing. Don't worry about it. You're
Right. It's COVID.
fine."
yeah,
Right. Like it's COVID.
Yeah,
Yeah. I hope they like there's lawyers like oh yeah like all over watching this. So hopefully the best of the best come out and like can really help these people and yeah because
yeah.
there's
You know,
profit
Lord.
over safety. There's, they won't implement those safety features because it's too expensive. They can't afford it, and putting people's lives at risk every single day.
Yeah,
Go on.
UFO World War III. Are they talking about UFOs again? I don't buy into the whole UFO thing. I never had. Now my husband,
Hey,
he believes they exist.
they
I'm,
just got that one that was by me, man. Oh my goodness.
what?
The thing over Lake Huron, that's like where I'm at. So, but luckily the Air Force Base is like 5 miles away. So I think I'm good. I think
That they
I'm,
got was a kid's $12 balloon.
oh wait, where? Which one was that? The one over
Uh,
here?
I don't know. Let me check.
Oh, I don't, I didn't even really read. I stopped, like, after the second thing they saw, I was just like, okay. And then everyone was like, oh my God, it's over here. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
um, it was a $12 hobby balloon.
I remember Balloon Boy. that, that was crazy. I
They
don't even
used
remember
a
what year that was.
$43,000 missile to shoot down what may turn out to be a $12 hobby balloon last weekend, with some calling it an expensive way to eliminate a kid's science project.
Wow, dude.
Northern Illinois Bottle Cap Balloon Brigade told Aviation Week that one of its tracked balloons vanished on February the 11th around the same time President Biden orders to shoot down a mystery object over Canada's Yukon territory. Is that the one by you?
I think so, yeah. Like between
Uh,
me and Jenny, that
yes.
that area.
You know where Alaska is? We're
Mm-hmm.
next door to it.
Oh, is it there?
Yeah.
Stop stepping on me.
So he spent $400,000 of taxpayers' money to shoot down a $12 hobby balloon. Yeah, this
That's
administration is
crazy.
really on it. Meanwhile, they're gassing people over in East Palestine, Ohio.
Right, and doesn't it seem like I don't know. I think like when certain things happen, it's like they're trying to distract from other things that are going on.
But they let a
And
Chinese balloon fly over the entire United States.
yeah,
But we spent 400 grand to shoot down a hobby balloon. You know what 400 grand could have done to help those people in Ohio?
right. Exactly. They could have probably put them up somewhere, permanently until
Yeah.
they figured out what's going on.
Hey, Christy.
Because they have no idea.
Mm-mm. Some of them do. Some of them do.
Like,
Some of them are like speaking out and screaming at the top of their lungs, but it's falling on deaf ears with the government. Even the EPA went out there and said, "Oh, everything's all right. You're good."
right.
Mm-hmm. Oh, those dead fish. They all died of natural causes. There's
All
nothing.
at the same time. But yeah, it was totally, you're good. Don't worry. Go swim in it. Go drink. You're fine.
Well, what are they calling the other four so-called balloons? Who knows? Catch me if you can. Who freaking knows? A lot of strange things happening in the world right now.
Yep.
So every Friday we're going to discuss something.
Come on. Sit.
And with the way things are going, I'll have something new to discuss every freaking week.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure there's.
It's like every other day, whether it be some kind of weather balloon, a UFO, gassing a whole community, or,
Yep.
finding classified documents next to Corvettes, or, just anything that's going on.
Yeah, the trains would always just stop. I just saw Bog's comment. They and like even further out of my town, like where all the stores would be, so like even 20 minutes away, there's one train track that's like notorious for stopping, and there'd be like an ambulance sitting there waiting to like get through, and it would be on like the local news. They have never done anything to do anything about it, but yeah, I don't have that problem anymore. There's like no trains over here like that I see anyway.
I have a friend that she drives. It's some kind of. It's not working directly for the railroad. It's a contract company where she goes to these stop locations and picks up the crew and takes them to another location. I
Huh.
mean, she drives all over Texas picking up countries and stuff. She tells me stuff about the railroads.
Oh yeah, I bet she's seen some stuff.
Oh yeah, and she's been posting on Facebook about this, but I really didn't pay that much attention to it at first until I started hearing it.
So I bet her perspective of it is probably really interesting because she knows things that other people don't
Well,
about
she's
that
a
kind of
big
stuff.
tinfoil hat person. I mean, she gets down to
Oh no.
stuff that I'm just like, no. I think she goes further than I do with the stuff, so I don't pay attention to a lot of, I'll glance over it, but a lot of the
Yeah.
stuff she believes is just like way out there.
Yeah, that's how my uncle is. Gosh, sometimes we just like can't even deal with him because he watches that stuff. Like, man, when the Shiite thing was going on, he used to say that all the time, like 9/11, and oh man, that like
That was all planned.
that shook him, man. Yeah, he really thought like terrorists were coming, and I'm like, bro, you good? Like, yeah, it just freaked him out, and he would watch Fox News would stay on TV 24/7 in his
That's how I
little
used to be.
trailer, and that's
That's
all he
how
would do.
that's how I used to be with it. I used to be like real down with the conspiracy thing, and my mind is still open to the fact that 911 may have been planned.
Oh yeah, I've seen some stuff over the years that
Hmm.
kind of. I mean, I remember like being like, what? Like stumbling on websites like way back in the day.
That stuff's pretty convincing. I mean, I like to
Yeah,
think of myself as a logical conspiracy theorist. I mean,
right.
if I can't make sense out of the conspiracy, I'm usually like,
Yeah, there is some stuff that's pretty far out there, but there is some stuff that's not, and it's you can see how the dots connect or whatever. But
mhm.
go to your toy.
I mean, some people get like way out there. Like if you
Yeah, that's my uncle.
uh,
He had got hurt and he worked for Ford, and he got hit in the face with a friggin' 2x4. So he couldn't see, and he was so paranoid that they were like watching him to make sure he wasn't frauding, even though he literally his eyeball had to be like sewn back in his head, but he still thought they would, and he was always like looking out his windows and stuff. I'm like, they do when you're on the disability, like they do kind of check and make sure that you're not like frauding them, but I doubt they paid somebody to sit outside of his trailer to make sure he didn't come out and open the door. Like it was kind of excessive, and it got really
that's
annoying.
more of a workman's comp thing where they
Yeah,
you and
but it made his
disability,
paranoia
they don't
so
give a
bad.
shit. They just look at your doctor's reports.
Yeah,
Really, disability. The only once you get on disability, the only thing that they're concerned with is if you're making money.
right. He would call me and be like, "What's that car?" Because he lived like kind of behind me. He would every time there was someone sitting in their car, man, it was Ford. They were coming to get him. I'm like, you legit? Can you not get that right now? Like he had a serious injury. I mean, it messed him up forever. But he just always thought that they were watching him, and and then 9/11 happened, and it just like and then he was alone, so there's no one to like tether him back to reality. He was just spiral, and I'm like, no, I can't come over today to
Dude,
talk about
and if
this.
you're stuck in the house and you have nothing but like the internet or TV,
Yeah.
you start you it starts out you read some one little thing and you're like, that kind of
Hmm.
then you just start going down these rabbit holes and it's like the more you look, the more you find and before you know it,
Yeah.
your freaking TV and toaster are listening to every one of your conversations and
Yep. There, I saw this thing. It was a documentary about these people. I think it might have been in like Britain or something, maybe, but it was people that believe that they have been microchipped by the government, and they have this like massive convention. And the guy was saying
yeah,
like
catch me if you can exactly.
he was saying that like you see hear one or two people talk about it, but he said that like being in a room where there was like 100 people saying the same thing, he's like just there to like he didn't believe that stuff. He was just making a thing about it, but he's like I can see how people can get like duped into thinking because like some of the stuff makes sense, but there's reasonable explanations for said things, but and then they get in these chat rooms and then they all like get each other riled up and then it just spreads so bad, and then they have conventions about it. No
Maudlin said,
thanks.
read below, behold a pale horse. And that's where I start getting into a lot of it too because of prophecy. And you can match
Right.
up. I mean, if you can match up something that's going on against something that's a prophecy that's in the Bible, that's when it really becomes real.
Ooh, I like that kind of stuff. That sounds like
Mhm.
super interesting.
If you look back on my videos, I did quite a few prophecy videos back whenever I was doing videos. And
Yeah.
if I can match it, if something sounds just wild, but I can match it up to a prophecy that's in the Bible, then that's where
Mm-hmm.
my tinfoil hat really starts. It starts styling and profiling. David Icky, David Ike.
Oh yeah, yeah. My old man loves that guy, and he always
Who is he?
he. I don't want to say it wrong, but he's like a
Let me look him up.
yeah. He does like there was one interview that my old man like made me watch. He's like, just listen to this. Oh, I don't remember which one it is.
He's an English conspiracy theorist and a former footballer and sports broadcaster. He has written over 20 books, self published since the mid 1990s, and spoken more than
Mm-hmm.
20 countries. What biggest secret? Oh, okay.
Yeah, but some of the stuff he
Terrorist
says,
banned
like,
from the Netherlands. November 2022, David Icke, conspiracy theorist banned from the Netherlands. He must be way out there.
yeah. I wonder if it's this Ireland interview from 1991 because whatever one he sent me was like super. It was like an old video of him, but yeah,
He was
he's
banned
like,
from most of Europe.
yeah, probably because they're like, no, you're just freaking people out.
People thinks year 2000, everybody will be dead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all the computers were supposed to reset and wipe everything out.
We're still
Y2K.
living.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
We're still living.
That was before I was into politics or anything. I was just scared my computer was going to die.
Yep, I was like, how old was I that year? 96, I was 10.
Oh, you were 10? No,
And
99.
Right?
yeah, in 96, I was 10. So yeah, I remember I had a
Well,
little white
you were a
TV
baby then. I was 18,
in 1999.
19, 96.
Oh,
I was 27 in 1999.
I was 21 then in
here's a weird one.
99.
David
So my little
stay
sister
out there
was,
sometimes.
yeah. So
Oh,
my
yeah,
little
when you
sister,
start getting into the humanoid reptilians and stuff like that, I'm out.
yeah, I think that's kind of some of the stuff he talks, like a lot of like Illuminati stuff. But
When you
if
start
you
getting
do
into
watch anything,
hey,
I'd
Gladys.
watch the old one. I don't know what the name of this channel is. But yeah, so my little sister was born June 6th, 1996,
See you, Miss Gladys.
and she weighed 6 pounds and 6 ounces. But I think she was born at like 3 something in the afternoon. But everybody always was like, oh my God, like her numbers were really scary and like a lot of the 666 and stuff. And when she was 6 years old, she had just a regular doctor's appointment, and they said that she had. I was little, I was 10 when she was born. Um, but I remember a scan because they thought she had like tumors in her body and stuff, and nothing was there. But I remember that happening when she was 6. But
God.
yeah, she was totally fine. It was like a shadow in a scan that they saw, and it like freaked everybody out. They're like, I knew it, but no.
Got a mental trip for your parents.
Yeah, yeah. She always and I'm 6 pounds 6 ounces. I'm 6'6", 96". I swear to God. Like I was like, yeah, right. Like I swear, she's like painfully average, normal girl. She just had a really weird birthday.
Might as well
But
say
yeah,
like the niece of the beast if we're going by birth age.
yeah, it's so weird. I always forget that she has like weird. I can't remember what time she was born. I believe it was like 3. If it was anything around 6, I would have remembered it. But yeah, she was fine. She has seizures, but she doesn't really have them as much anymore. But go get your toy over there, not me. But yeah, wasn't there the thing with the Mayan calendar that was supposed to happen
Yeah, the world was supposed
like
to end
December or something?
in 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that, because we were waiting on
Yeah, I
her.
can't remember the what year that was supposed to happen, but
What year was the world supposed to end according to the Mayans? I remember that.
hmm right, because like all their like ancient ruins, the calendars didn't go past that point or something. That was like so they were like, oh, that must be when it was gonna happen.
Guess what? We're still here.
2012.
Oh yeah, 2012. Oh
20,
yeah, because that movie 2012. I think that was the premise of that movie.
yeah, I remember that
That's
year. It
right.
was supposed to happen in December on 2012, I think.
Yep.
Yeah,
Guess
That's a
what?
good
We're
movie though.
still here.
2012. What?
There it is. Go on. Go. Come on.
Oh, okay. No reptile humanoids and behold the pale horse. Your father had 3 6s in his birthday. Brutally honest.
Ooh, that's so creepy.
I was born in June, but that's the only number 6 in my birthday. I remember my little dog Deadly died on 10/10/10.
Oh, that's when my sister got married.
Really?
Yeah, she got married on that day.
She got married today. I had to put my little dog down.
Yep, I was super pregnant and I was like couldn't even fit in the bridesmaid dresses because when we found out she was getting married, I wasn't pregnant. By the time the wedding came, I was about to burst, so I had to. It like threw everything off. She was so mad at me, but hopefully she's over it now.
Um,
The pictures turned out good.
Catch Me If You Can. They actually sell space in a bomb shelter. It's for the rich. Let me see. I saw something on it.
hmm I
Find
like those in
a
the tornado ones. They have like in
shelter.
Tornado Alley they built like they have these really good shelters now underground.
No, there's this whole big doomsday bunker that's built somewhere where you can rent an area in it, and it's just like a whole underground city.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Oh.
it's for the rich, trust me, but it's
That's like that movie 2012 where they had been secretly building the ships for when the earth floods again or whatever and like I think yeah that's because it's got that John Cusack guy in it. That's gotta be the same movie.
we've looked at those. It's like a bomb shelter condo. But there's this one big one.
That's so weird. I never heard about that.
Where it is, but I saw something. My husband likes to watch those sci-fi, well, not sci-fi, but those shows like What on Earth and all the,
hmm
conspiracy type
Yeah.
shows. And they were showing that one night. I can't remember. We'll get all off into. They come on Saturday night mainly. We'll get all off into like that.
Survival condo? Is that what it's called?
It's a big one. It's multiple
Survivalcondo.com.
people can rent space in this one uh, area. I think it's in Vegas or somewhere. It's and a lot of people have already made their homes down there. My aunt and uncle have one. They have well, it's a tornado shelter. They live
Yeah.
well. We
4.5
all live in Tornado
million
Alley
dollars.
down here, but they live in like a more prone area.
Oh, these are $1 million at the half floor unit, 920 square feet, one level starting at 1.5 million.
Yeah,
Oh, that's cool. It's like a little cylinder in the ground.
many of the wealthy elites are actually hoping that some kind of catastrophic event will take place that will wipe out a significant number of the rest of us. I could go on a tangent on that one, Lavina.
Yeah.
I could talk for 24 hours straight on that one. I've looked into that a lot. Let's say Auntie used to be a big time conspiracy theorist. I'm talking, I was deep. I
See,
was,
that's the thing. And like my parents and like their friends and stuff would have talked about that kind of stuff because like I feel like back in the day, like in the 90s and stuff, before the internet, you know, like cool little stories would kind of float around and
yeah, but
they
once
would
the
talk
internet
about,
happened,
yeah.
I was actually following a group that I really can't say the name of it on here, but it's kind of a well known big conspiracy theorist group. You can't even mention the name on YouTube, but it
Oh,
starts
really?
with you. I used to follow that. Your husband will probably know who they are. Spooky. He sounds like somebody who would know who they are.
Yeah, he does. He gets into some of that stuff where like the David Icke stuff where I'm like, what? And he's like,
It
you gotta
starts with the
watch
letter Q. That's all I'm gonna say.
that.
But
Oh,
I was knee deep in that back in 19 or 2020 2021.
oh, really? I
Mm.
see. I've heard of them. I don't really know.
They are. They have this whole story set up. I guess is what you could call it. I mean, it's
See, the perception of them that I've got just from like random things I've seen is not that. Like what I just Googled isn't what I thought they were.
no,
So
it's
that's,
more like a cult.
yeah, see, I've seen it like a lot with like the White House stuff that happened and like they kind of give the perception of that versus what the Wikipedia definition is different than what I had thought. Um,
Well, according to them, Biden really isn't the president. They're the show. He's not even in the White House. Time you see Biden in the White House, he's actually on a movie set,
what?
and it's this. I can't remember the name of the production company, but it starts with a C. I can't remember the exact name, but they have a White House movie set out in California, and that's
Oh,
it.
really?
That's where you see Biden,
Oh,
and
wouldn't that be some shit? That was
I mean,
like
some of
really what's
this
going
stuff
on?
is it's like way out there. I mean, way out there, and
Just
it
like the
was
moon landing, how that was like filmed on a
Yeah,
set, and then there's like clips of it. Like that's crazy, but like, what if it was real?
it ain't real. It ain't. But it
people
You
was,
know,
think
these people.
huh?
people think the Earth is flat.
Well, these people don't really think the Earth is flat, but they think that we're being ran by a bunch of Satanists that they refer to as the cabal, and there's underground tunnels and stuff under the White House where they're keeping
Hmm.
children that
There is.
they're using for their own pleasures and sacrifices, and it's a whole epic storyline that they have going and that people are buying into. And um,
I don't see the tunnels being underneath the White House,
well,
but
there
I
are
think
tunnels underneath the White House, but I don't think children are being held hostage.
no.
Yeah, there definitely are tunnels. Like
Hmm.
I
But
mean, I
that's
guess
where they
like,
keep all the children. That's where they,
right.
that
There's
it,
like the flaming torches for light in the walls as you
yeah,
walk up.
and blood sacrifices, and I mean
Yeah.
the whole storyline. It's like an epic novel.
And that's
It
so much more fun than reality. So I see how that stuff, like, you know, spreads really easy because it's entertaining.
no, people like it's more than entertainment to people.
Yeah.
They actually believe it,
Yeah. They,
get sucked into it, and I mean the propaganda around it and that they dish out is so convincing on some things that it's outlandish. But then you get to thinking, well, maybe this really is what's going. It would make sense that
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
it
Like,
is
some
a
things you're kind of
lifestyle that could achieve. For some of them, it is. And back in 2020, whenever I got rheumatoid arthritis, I was pretty much housebound. I mean, I was paralyzed pretty much.
like,
And I
yeah.
had nothing else to do but sit on the internet all day reading just coming across stuff. And I got real deep into that crap for 2 years. I thought about doing some streams on it in their beliefs, but YouTube would probably kick me off.
Oh, yeah.
They ran
Mhm.
all of the Q people off of YouTube. They're over at Rumble and BitChute now.
Right,
And
yeah. And then, but then the stuff they let stay on the platform. But I heard Susan Wojcicki or whatever is going bye bye.
The Adrian Chrome stuff is just ridiculous. Now, my friend will swear by that modeling. My friend, she started talking about it our last poker game, and all of us were just like, and we're all conspiracy theorists at heart, but as I said, some of that stuff is just,
nonsense.
yeah, people are making good money off of that Becca Chew. These creators that have hopped on that train and are promoting this stuff. And there's one that I still kind of check in on just because he's really good at what he does, and you have to appreciate the hustle. But man, these people are making money hand over fist on selling these ideologies of what this group, the storyline that this group has created.
Right.
Well, think Natasha will jump on that bandwagon.
She can't. They'll take her channel real quick if she jumped on that bandwagon. She'd have to go to Rumble or Parlor or BitChute to do that. Flat earthers are pathetic. Yeah, these people aren't
Yeah.
flat earthers. The storyline that they have created is just, it's epic. I mean, we and everybody was going to be arrested on inauguration day. And then it's like, no, seriously. I mean, there is somebody behind it, but nobody knows who that person is. And there's a server, 4chan, where he makes his drops of this information, and it's very convincing. Some of it is. Some of it you're just
Hmm.
like, but every time something happens, like on inauguration day, Biden and Clinton and all of them were going to be arrested. They were all going to bum rush in there and arrest all of them, and there were going to be public tribunals and all of this. And it didn't have. I mean, even I was sitting here watching the inauguration, and when it doesn't happen, they move the goalpost. Well, the operation failed. They couldn't go forward with the operation because of this technical error or whatever, and they moved the goalpost out. And there's going to be significant events, and every time it doesn't happen, they move it out. So, well, this didn't take place because, and people just keep following this stuff, and it's just. I remember
Yeah.
who she got wind of something that, because all the electricity and everything's supposed to go out, and you're supposed to get like a notification on your cell phone as to what's going on, and this is needed because of, they've got to arrest everybody in Washington and blah 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 blah. I mean, it just the storyline is just dynamic. And she got wind of something one time, and it was about a year ago, and she hit me up, Aunt Kim, is this really going to happen? Because somebody had told her, okay, Sunday night, this is going to take place. I was like, girl, ain't shit going to happen. Now when she presented it to me, I knew it was something from this group, and I was like, no, don't even pay attention to that. Yeah, it's on 4chan. That's where Q makes the drops back at you. 4chan is nothing but trolling. Well, Q had to move over
Yeah.
to 4chan because they kept getting kicked off of other servers, so that's why Q operates there. But nobody knows who Q actually is. They think it's a military intelligence. It's what the people in the group will tell you. It's
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's totally credible.
mm-mm.
Yes, them.
There's probably some 12-year-old sitting in his mama's basement.
That would be fun. It's like my son in his room right now, like this whole mastermind operation, like throws Roblox on the night come
That's
in.
in 2017 is when they made the first drop,
Yeah,
supposedly.
4chan is scary, man. Like there's like a lot. There is a video out there that like kind of collects all these stories to like a video, but the one I remember the most is this guy was like, "Yo, there's this missing girl." So when you post on there, you probably know like your thing is just a string of random numbers. It's like generated every time. And the guy's like, when you make a post, if you can guess what the numbers are going to be on your name, I'll tell you where this girl is. And somebody
Oh,
guessed the number, which you don't see the number. The number appears after you click submit the post. And then it's like user, da da da, whatever. I don't use it, so I don't know exactly, but someone guessed it. And he just put coordinates up there, and there was a body there. And I do believe there was a few. It was like Reddit or murders solved on 4chan or whatever is the video. And there was another one where this guy's like was just posting this girl's body and was like, man, feel bad at 3 when her kid comes home today is gonna find her. And then people started watching the news, and then like at 4 o'clock, boom, here's like news articles that someone was killed. And like people go on there to post anonymously, you know, and they don't think they can get caught. One of those two people got caught. I just can't remember now offhand. But way too advanced internet for me. I'm not anywhere able to operate that site at all.
Penguins theme don't F with cats. I don't even know what that is, Maudlin.
Oh yeah,
What is that?
it's a documentary on Netflix about God, what is that guy's name? The the model guy. Anyway, someone was posting videos as I'm like, and I seen this video myself where they put cats in a space bag and like vacuum out the air, kittens, and kill them. And they were posting them online. And uh, what's the
Oh, I
name of
don't
that
want to
video?
see it. I'd be
It's like
traumatized.
no, well they don't show that stuff, but that guy who was posting that. And then there's one. It's like one ice pick, one psychopath or something that's called, and he filmed himself killing somebody, posting it. God, what is his name? And they made a documentary about how the internet was like no, and like it came together and like solved and figured out who he was.
You should
It's
watch it.
like
It's really sick with you.
yeah.
You don't understand, Becca, too. I will be traumatized. I
Oh
can
no no no.
watch.
It doesn't show anything bad.
If
I
there's a
don't
dog
think.
in it because I'm scared it's going to get hurt.
Yeah, my sister still hasn't seen Tiger King because she is afraid she's going to see a tiger being neglected, and the one with the 666 birthday. Yeah, I can't even with all the funny stuff that happens in that movie or the show, cannot get her to watch it because she's
Now
like,
I watched Tiger King. There really wasn't too much
right. That's what
that was
I'm
bad.
like. That's you're not gonna see. I mean, the part where the guy in the office, that scene, I was like, what? But like,
One detective was actually crying with what he did to a puppy's. Mm-mm, I can't watch
but
it. That would be a year's
it's
worth
such
of
a good thing to watch because it's like how the internet, like, and then the Boston bombing, like Reddit people like scoured footage and like thousands of people like literally found these people. The detectives say they did it, but pretty sure the internet, like people online, solved
therapy.
that case. And like,
You can't get away with.
yeah,
That's what I don't understand. You can't get away with nothing these days. There's
mm-mm.
cameras everywhere. There's
Yeah,
everybody's walking around carrying a recording device, not
Yeah, you don't ever know,
an actual video camera.
right?
There's no hurting animals in the documentary. I could never have done. I can't even hear about it though. I mean, y'all don't understand. I will. It will cost my husband a year's worth of therapy bills. I can't
Yeah, I mean, I
do
think
that.
they maybe mention like because these videos kind of started popping up, and people were like, "What the hell?" Like, and then what blew my mind is that that guy was the same guy as the act ice pick murderer guy. I didn't know that that was the same person.
Oh
When I
wow!
watched that, I was like, "Oh," because I
Well,
had seen both of those
anybody that
videos.
abuses animals can be a murderer. They, you know,
Yeah, well, like,
abusing animals. They usually grew up to be all the serial killers started out abusing animals.
hmm yeah, and like, it's so sad. And then he like drugs the guy and records him just. I was like, what? My God.
You
So
know,
that's why my kids are like wanting to look at stuff online. I'm like, listen, you guys do not know what you're
right?
gonna stumble on that's going to fucking traumatize you for the rest of your life. Like, we didn't have those safeguards. We would get, oh man, the sites that were around in the early 2000s, like Jesus. And it's worse now,
Those
obviously, but
animals name about the person. Yeah, they could chew. I can do
hmm
crime. I mean, I love true crime about killing people and things
the
like
thing
that.
about that guy,
But when it comes to an
though,
animal, no, I won't
yeah,
even.
that guy was weird. And they found that he would post, he'd make a post of something like a selfie or something, and then there was like hundreds of profiles commenting, and they were all him. He was making thousands of personas online and interacting with each other to make himself look like something. Like, the capacity mentally you'd have to deal with and operate something like that is
Even come up
fucking
with something
crazy to
like
me.
that.
That blows my freaking mind. I'm like,
He got married
what?
in prison.
Oh God, what is his name? Did they say what his name was? I can't think of it. It's
No,
some weird name. I just don't really want to Google it. 'Cause-
freaking serial killer whores. They.
yeah,
I'm the same way.
yeah, the Stephen Avery ones cracked me up. Those ladies that
Watch all the
just
graphic.
wanted to be.
Yeah, no, but I can't. I cannot do it. I can't.
aren't you a
No, my
sad
mom. I remember.
one? No.
Hey, Johnny, I'm good. How are you doing?
Hey, Johnny.
Oh, Jenny. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not. I don't know. I used to be able to watch a lot of stuff. I used to um God, what is that guy's website? I used to love anything gory. Like this one guy would go to all the places where like famous people died and take pictures of their houses. His website still exists,
Right.
findadeath.com. That's what it is. And
Mm.
he's got an index of like, I mean, people from like Steve McQueen, like way back then, all the way up to now. Um, I used to love that stuff. Like anything, graphic you could find. And I don't know what happened, but at some point it just something clicked, and I just would be really bothered like for the whole day if I saw something like really graphic. I've seen people drown. I've seen like really bad stuff, and not no more. Like, it's my sister's the same way too. She's like, I just stopped being into that stuff. I get like I'd be like peeking through my fingers, like, oh, I don't want to see because it sticks in your head. And
Mm-hmm. Did you see what Jenny Ann said?
yes, it's so sweet. I hope that was made sense to somebody because yeah, like my kids, their friends and niece, they all like, and I'm just like, listen, man, I would, I can't undo what stuff exists out there. There's no
Yeah,
magic button to delete that
I
from
can
your
undo
memory,
what you might see.
right? Like I know, like your friends egg you on, but please,
Stephen
you
gets more
just
pain
you're
than
better off not seeing it.
there's
And
someone
there's
claiming
top of
she's in love with the Idaho 4 killer. I'm not surprised. They're actually serial killer hoes. Auntie is right there. There are cameras everywhere. People,
yeah.
cell
Oh,
phones, your chances of getting away with something are slim. Yeah.
I ain't
yes,
trouble,
Marlon,
Jenny.
I like that stuff too.
You always are trouble.
That's spooky.
Oh God, what's up with Cash App? What happened?
I
Yeah,
got
don't
done.
ask for my help. I know nothing. I've got it, but I know nothing about it.
I don't
Yeah, I
have
don't
it,
know.
but I
I
might be
I
able
don't
to
know how
help.
to log into my old account because someone donated on my old Cash App last night, and I can't get into it to give them a refund.
Wait, my headphone went beeped. I didn't. Who do you have to give a refund to? Like a friend or
Uh,
something?
yeah, to one of our friends because she donated to my old Cash App,
Oh, and you don't have access to it?
and I don't have
Do
access
you
to
have
it.
the card?
I do have the card.
Okay, then that's probably all you'll need for them to like unlock it for you or let you. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I mean, obviously you're you and
Jeannie,
you
Yeah.
have your ID.
I am so sorry to hear that. So you haven't went to the hospital. It's letting you go. Do you still have pneumonia? I mean, are you better now?
Oh, I read that so wrong. Oh my God, I read that backwards or something. So who?
I lost my career, but I'm so grateful to be alive. It's kind of changed how I look at things. Wow. Are you better now, Jenny Ann? Or,
Yeah, it's scary.
yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Everybody has a right. And just for me, it's all of a sudden, it's like life means so much to me when I thought I might not see my hubby or kids again. Oh, it was all. I could.
Hmm.
I hope I never have to imagine that.
People that have never experienced like a
Mm-mm,
separation from people that they care about, they don't know that
mm-mm.
fear, that feeling of like
But how are you
pure
now,
hopelessness.
Ann?
Wait, no.
I'm in top chat. Jesus.
Now you got me. Now you got me really curious. Now, Spooky. Now I have to check if I have my old one.
I
Right.
have
Well,
limiting lung damage called terrestrial lung disease, hypersensitivity. Jenny Ann, you
Madeline,
be praying.
Madeline, where do you live? Like what state? Because
My ears
not last Thanksgiving.
start for another 2 hours. I'm
Oh,
also helping set up with the food in the area. Oh, that sounds like fun, Lonnie. It will take years off my life. Well, Jenny Ann, I believe in miracles, so
oh no.
definitely going to be praying for you there.
Well, you survived it when they were, saying that it,
Only working
you
like this
wouldn't.
and can't breathe.
Yeah, my sister's got valley fever, and for a while there, I don't know if it was the medicine or if it was, I don't know. She was like, it was really bad, and that's where you breathe in the spores, and it like just attacks your lungs. Um, and she's out every single day. I'm not exaggerating. Literally every day, she is out hunting. creaks and metal detecting. And I have some videos on my channel of her that I uploaded. I was trying to like motivate her to keep going. And I was like, well, I'll post them and see if people find it, and she can kind of encourage her to keep going. But she's still out there digging and rummaging through woods and stuff. It's exactly how she got in that situation, picking up pieces of wood off the ground and spores. She breathed them in, and that could kill you. Oh, she got COVID. Oh my god.
I'm on an experimental med that shuts the immune system down, and I have pulmonary hypertension. Why do they want to shut your immune system down?
Right, that seems like
Best place away, all right.
adding gas to that fire.
Very much alive. I made it, and I made them send me home. You're a fighter. That's
Yeah.
That's the spirit you need to have. I'm
Right,
wondering
that's
why they
just
want to shut your immune system down. I would think that they.
right. That's like your best bet.
I know of them shutting an immune system down as if there's an autoimmune disease like I have. I'm an RN, and we brought all the stuff into home, and I have a great doctor, and he told me he aims to keep me going as long as possible, and a lung transplant might be possible in the future. Oh, well, that's promising.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it sounds like you have a fighting spirit. I mean, you beat COVID, which
Well, that's the thing. When because like my mom, like things were happening, but she was pregnant, so like her voice went out. So it took a long time before symptoms started. It was like a whole 8 months later before we found out when she gave birth. By that time, the cancer fed off the estrogen or whatever from the pregnancy, went everywhere. And the guy was like, I've seen people come in here with a malignant, I think that's the right word, like a harmless tumor, and they die from it because like it's like literally so much of it's in your head, and you just give up hope. And he's like, don't ever, like, as long as you keep a good mental, you know, thing going, and don't ever give up, like, and just hang on. I mean, for my mom, it was pretty much a blood clot that ended up killing her. But yeah, a harmless tumor, people just die. I've seen people, one of my cousin's wife, her dad, he had pancreatic cancer, and he died 2 weeks later after finding out.
That's pretty much a death sentence. Pancreatic cancer, you can pretty much write that off.
Right. I was like, wow, like
that's one of the
we just found out. Oh, Jenny, that's awesome. You said that there's improvement in how long.
If y'all would keep me in your thoughts, prayer, meditation, I appreciate it.
Of course.
And every day I'm going to be praying for you because
Yep, and Brutal's right. Like, they are constantly coming up with things that, literally every day there's new stuff.
I believe in prayer, and I believe in miracles, and I believe in a God that can heal the sick, and I've seen it happen.
Oh, that's so crazy. This is so, like, off topic, but I thought I seen Madeline say she went to a museum. I don't see that comment now where it went, but they have one by me. It's like a museum of DEATH. I won't say it, but me and my sister went there on Thanksgiving. They were open. She came up to visit. They were like looking for stuff to do, and they had like old medical equipment and like that kind of stuff. Like little exhibits of stuff. It was open on Thanksgiving night. We went there. So like this little one up by me. You gotta go in there.
That's awesome, Judy. That is awesome. Sounds like you got a great doctor that really, he's not just in it for money. He really cares.
Yeah.
And that makes a big difference.
I can imagine. COVID is like she's the prime candidate for like, what, COVID is like deadly for anyone with like lung issue. I know my dad's brother, he was on a waiting list for a lung transplant, and like I swear I lived with them for a little bit, and like he was on the waiting list. He quit smoking, did everything, never touched a cigarette, but he smoked the grass. And I think the reason how that happened is he would take hits and he would like breathe them in real deep. That's what my dad said. It was from like breathing in hits of that super deep in his lungs for 20 years, whatever. And he's on the waiting list. And then him and my dad got in the stupidest argument one day. And like we got home and my uncle went in his room and smoked. And basically just, that was basically a SUICI, whatever. And I honestly haven't talked to him in a long time. I don't know if he's still alive. That's so terrible to admit, but I know those waiting lists can be like, we had to go and like the family had to do an interview with the doctor to make sure that if they gave him the lung transplant, he would have support and people would be there to help him. And on the way home from that appointment is when they got in the fight. And yeah, those lists are crazy long, like years you have to wait.
Yeah, back then you were on your own back then.
Oh, brutal, yeah.
I couldn't imagine, Jenny. I couldn't imagine.
Yes, Madeline, that is right. I'm a huge, 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 huge Jim Morrison fan. He's my favorite.
In the beginning, to put me in a nursing home, and I've worked in them, and they are wonderful. But if I said no, if I live, I go home, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want to.
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't know. The one up here that I had my mother-in-law in, where she passed with the pandemic, it's a good place. I go to the Marmot Weekly, love its history. Madeline, I want to go to that museum that's next to you. Part of the Mansing compound, part of Sharon Tate's house, really creepy stuff. Yeah, I would love to go see that. Yeah, it really does. It really would make you see what's important, Jenny. I would have
Mm-hmm.
a whole new outlook.
It does because like people tend to like get on your nerves on just day to day. Things get real monotonous, and then like you don't
You're just,
realize how good you really have it. So
oh, he closed it. Dang, Madeline, that would be an interesting place to go see. We thought my uncle was going to get better with those pesky blood clots.
yeah, that's the weirdest thing. Like I remember my mom's arms were like terrible. They look like somebody beat on her with a, I don't even know, like from just having IVs in her arms. My sister was born the 3rd. She died the 29th. So she was I mean, she had IVs, but people have been in hospital stays way longer, and her arms just looked so bad. They were black and blue, just elbow to wrist, and she got really skinny and looked really bad. And then I was there with her every day, except the one day they went back to the hospital without me, and it was like so when you have blood clots, like you're supposed to be on bed rest. They put stents in the whole nine. Well, she was up in the bathroom when it happened. So I feel like we probably could have sued them to some degree. Like, why wasn't I wasn't there to like make her stay in bed? But yep, blood clots. So I told Red Door Woman like, oh my God, don't get up, like, because she said like she
Anybody
had to
heard
have her
from
on
her?
bed
I sent
rest.
her a text
No,
2 days ago asking how she's doing. She hasn't responded, and she usually responds to my text.
really. Oh
Yeah.
God, no. She was in the chat like that one day, and then they were like, "Have you heard from her?" Somebody said that, and I was like, "Yeah, she was in the chat earlier, but since whatever day that was, I haven't."
I sent her a text because she's usually real responsive to me.
Yeah, because I think she's kind of posted up.
It was yesterday. Okay, it was yesterday at 2 p.m. So it just seems like it was like last week whenever I sent it, but I just sent it yesterday.
Yeah, it's so scary how, I mean, it just, so technically she was riddled with cancer, head to toe. I think the only place she didn't have it was breast cancer. And she got radiation once. When she did her chemo that morning, the first round of it, they were going to take a chance and see if they could save it. And fucking blood clot. She just dropped dead right on the floor.
Well, what
So,
happened with my brother was
or yeah,
he had a lump in his neck last year over, I guess it was last spring. And he went and had it checked, and turns out it was small cell lung cancer. So he went through the chemo and all of that. And they did a scan and said the cancer is totally gone. And that was over the late summer. And then
like last summer, this summer?
at the beginning of probably September or something like that, they said, well, it's back. No, it was in October, the 1st of October. They said the cancer had come back. So he was undergoing chemo again. And then he was undergoing chemo when his wife passed away October 6th. And hey, Milan, love you. And
On.
then early November, y'all know he got put in the hospital because
Mm-hmm.
half of his lung had collapsed. And they told him, the lung doctor at the hospital told him, there's no cancer. We didn't find any cancer. Whatever chemo you're taking, fixed it, and they
What?
reinflated his
Oh,
lung. And when they
yeah.
released him, I took him home, and I was like, he ain't quite right. And then the beginning of December, he was back in the hospital, and his lungs were filling up with fluid at this time. And then they were saying, well, the cancer's back, and the cancer's causing your lungs to fill up with fluid.
Yeah.
In there for a week, and they got
See, yeah, because that's what happened too.
like liters of fluid off of his lungs through the course of that week.
Yeah.
Installed that tube and sent him home on after the Wednesday after Christmas, and he died Monday morning.
That's so weird because that's how they said it too. My mom, like the minute she gave birth, I looked at her and like she couldn't breathe. So like I don't know if they think like so they tapped her lungs a week after she gave birth and there was 2 liters is the way they said it. It was like a
Yeah,
couple gallons.
my brother.
Yep. And they we were like, let's go to U of M, like this hospital, like no, like we don't want you guys like opening her stuff like that here. So went to the U of M, tapped it, and then they tapped it twice within that time, and they said like, "Oh, as long as there's no blood," and it was like an epidural. Like she was facing me, and I was facing the doctor, who was like behind her, and I was watching the fluid come out, and I was like, "Ooh," and she's staring at my
Okay,
face
Ariel,
in
good to
hints.
see you. Yeah,
Aw,
it's
yeah, it's like, ooh, but so what did they say he died from?
the fluid buildup in his lungs. They said he drowned.
Oh my God. When
Because
was his final, like, when did they drain his lungs, like, the
well,
time
what
before
happened
that?
is they drained him on that Wednesday morning. He was sent home
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday evening, and they had installed this drainage thing into him that he supposedly could drain them himself into a sink or whatever at home. And
Oh.
a home health care nurse was supposed to start coming out there the next day. And she was supposed to come out there once a day to drain his lungs. And I talked to him. He called me Thursday and he's like, I'm home. He was happy to be home, but he still sounded real bad. And I asked
Mm-hmm.
him,
And he was, like, far away from you, right?
yeah,
Like,
he lived like an hour and a half away from me.
yeah.
Anna ate nasty worms that comes in here. She was with him when he died.
Oh.
And I, he sounded bad. So I was like, okay, well, the home health care nurse is going to come out there. And I talked to him. I called him Friday and he didn't respond. And then he called me Saturday night and he was just bitchy and fussy and he was just, people need to stop calling my damn phone. I'm trying to get some rest. And he sounded bad. And I was like, has that home health care nurse come out there? He said, no, I haven't heard or seen from him at all. You know, and it was a holiday weekend. It was New Year's weekend.
Yeah.
And January 2nd, I was sitting here at 6 a.m. and my phone rang. And it was a detective from the Erath County Sheriff's Department to tell me that he was found unresponsive.
Who found him?
Huh? Well,
Oh,
Anna was with him, but Anna and I had only just met at the hospital. We didn't really know each other, so she didn't feel comfortable telling me.
right.
Telling
Oh,
me,
okay.
telling me. So the detective that was there did it.
Yeah, I get that. That's
Yeah,
some heavy news. I wouldn't.
because he told me he's like Anna's here, but she asked me to call you because she, said she didn't feel kind. I said, yeah, she's new. I totally get that, but
Yeah.
he
Aw.
they hadn't even the funeral home hadn't even picked up my brother when the detective called. He was still there in the house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and she she was a wreck. I mean, she had to witness that.
Right. And him drowning, that, like, I think for my mom, it was just, boop, she just hit the floor, immediately asleep, you know.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, the fluid for her, I don't think it came. I mean, maybe there was some coming back. She had like a team of doctors dealing with stuff, so I don't really remember. I just know they were like, they took us in the hallway and they were like, you gotta keep a smile on your face, like, and we, as soon as we went back in the room, she's like, what? What? She was so mad and like angry, like how you were describing your brother, exactly how
Oh
she
yeah,
was.
he
Like,
was. He
she was
cussed me up one end
pissed.
and down the other, and then told me he loved me. I mean, that was the
Yeah,
last
yeah.
conversation I had with him.
Yep. And it's like now I'm kind of wondering if maybe it was some of the stages of it where I mean she knew it was pretty bad, but
Hmm.
she had a baby that she couldn't even see. The hospital was like, the baby's gotta go. Like your insurance, like we gotta discharge the baby. My dad, useless piece of shit, was like, oh, so she's with my sister now. My oldest sister ended up adopting her. Um, but yeah, so like I can't imagine now. Like I feel so bad. I was such a useless, like I was 17 when this all happened. And I wish so bad I could have been me now. Like I could have probably been so much more supportive than I was
You
back
were
then,
saying,
angsty teenager. Yeah, it's just like I was mad. I'm like, why are you being a bitch to me? Like what the now I kind of think it was more than her just being crabby.
yeah, that's why I didn't. I just laughed at my brother because he was cussing me. So I'm like, number one, I'm gonna call you anytime I want to call you.
Right. That you better just get used to.
Yeah, shit. Been battling with you through this whole
Yeah,
thing.
that
Yeah,
was
I'm gonna call and check on you. I don't care what you say.
yeah.
Couple of F
And they
yous,
always
and
said like
like I love you. So my last words to him weren't bad, and his last words to me weren't bad. It was I love you. So
yeah,
I
that's
think
sad though.
that.
So is he like laid to rest? I mean, obviously it's February, but like everything's good there because I know you kind of were.
Wonderful send off for him because he was the groundskeeper for that cemetery and worked for the funeral home.
Oh, that's right.
He actually lived on the property. So we were
Oh yeah.
able to give him a send off that, other people are not privy to doing.
Right.
I put the first, we did a little ceremony after everybody left. It was me and my aunt and uncle and my nephew and his wife, and then all of his buddies. There were like 18 of us.
Mhm.
Kyle, his helper out at the cemetery, came rolling up on the tractor with a load of dirt after they lowered him into the ground. Everybody else had left. And I got to put the
Mhm.
first shovel of dirt on him. Well, we put a pack of cigarettes in there and other
Aw.
year, and then I got to put the first shovel of dirt on him, and then the family, my aunts and uncles, my husband put the second shovel, and then they all put a shovel, and then my nephew put the final shovel of dirt.
Yeah,
It was a good send off. It was really
that's
cool.
good.
I've never done anything like that before.
That's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my first experience. Well, my grandma died when I was like in 1991. I was like 4. I I actually have a really vivid memory of that funeral and that whole day. To be honest, it's like the one day in my childhood I remember the entirety of. But
Hmm.
yeah, like yeah,
Uncle Sada
that
just,
stuff is not my bag. I do not like funerals. Oh, is he home?
I'm streaming. You want to say
Oh, I'm looking
hello?
at I'm looking at the YouTube
Oh, Lord.
thumbnail here.
Are
I
you
Oh,
have
did you get his coffee pot?
on the porch?
I got my coffee pot.
All right, that's the most important thing around here is his coffee pot.
What kind did he get?
What kind is that? Oh, I don't know. It's a.
Oh, I see. Ooh, that's fancy.
I drink cold brew, so that's his.
I'm terrible. I
Huh?
have a frappe machine. I have an espresso machine. I don't use the frappe machine because I tried to make them once and it was like separated. I even tried like using cold. I made coffee ice cubes and it still didn't mix like they do at McDonald's. My sister said there's like this xylosine something ingredient I need to like keep it from doing that weird separate. It looks really gross. I'm like, I think it's $100, man. I don't even use it. But I
You know
drink
how I
frappes
make my
like
cold
every
brew
day.
after years of getting all these little fancy devices and stuff like that? You know the best way to make cold brew at home?
Huh.
Get some instant coffee, put
Oh,
some
yeah.
water in it, mix it up, and then add the rest of your water, ice, and your creamer.
Oh, and then you just like put it in like a pitcher or something.
No, I make it by the glass. I make it.
Oh.
I use uh, Nestle instant coffee, and I put like 2 tablespoons, 2 heaping tablespoons, in a 24-ounce glass, and then I just mix it up with water. You got to put like 4 ounces of water in it, and then stir it. So all that gets mixed up.
Yeah.
And add the rest
yeah.
of your water,
Huh.
your ice. I put sugar-free caramel coffee syrup in it, and I use sugar-free caramel coffee creamer. It's the best stuff ever and the cheapest way to make it, easiest way to make it.
Yeah, because they sell that
Coffee.
cold brew
Yeah.
stuff.
Cold brew out of the bottle. Ugh.
Yeah, I haven't really tried that stuff, so I wasn't sure how it tastes.
Hot, and I'm very particular about my coffee made right. Yeah, I'm very very picky with my coffee, and I've had those cold brew makers that you let it sit for 24 hours. I've had this right here, the cheapest, quickest, best
Hey,
tasting.
if it tastes good to you, that's all that matters. You
And
know,
it's
if it
any
tastes how
instant
you want it
coffee.
to.
You can get Folgers instant coffee, or I use the Nestle Cafe or something like that. That comes in the bottle.
Yeah, I think I've seen that before.
And to me, that one's the best one to do it with because it's more of a powder.
Mm-hmm.
The Folgers is like crystals type stuff, but the
It's all probably like harder to dissolve if it's like if
Mhm.
it's cold, it dissolves
Mhm.
slower, or you know.
You just got to stir it, and then I put 4 ounces of water. I stir it up real good. Then I add my ice, the rest of the water. Well, I put 4 ounces of water and the syrup in there, and then I stir it real good. Add ice, the rest of the water, and top it off with that creamer. It's
I
great.
wonder if one of those little frother things would work good for that. Like
Mm,
mix it up really well.
yeah, it would.
Yeah, that would sounds good. All right, guys, I'm gonna jump down. My
Creamer
little
that you
man's
love.
calling me.
Yep. No problem, Spooky.
All right, guys, I'll see you guys later
Okay,
on
yeah.
Yep.
YouTube. I'll be around.
And Uncle Side
All
Eyes.
right, have a good
They
night,
may
guys.
stay on tonight, so
Oh yeah, yeah. I'll be around. Have a good night, guys. I'll see you later.
Thank
never
you
know.
for the conversation.
Yeah, no problem. Bye.
Bye. My little boy is fussing at my little girl to get up because he wants her spot. That's what y'all hear going on.
I want that spot.
Mm-hmm.
She's probably say too bad.
She's laying there ignoring him. She'll finally get up and then he'll take her spot, which they've got a California king size dog bed over there, but she's in one particular little spot that he wants. You hear this, Bull?
Yeah.
I wish he'd just wake up and whoop his little ass one day. But then I get mad because he's mama's baby. And he'll sit there and do this until she gets up.
And we laugh about it.
He's fixing to get serious. Yep, she got up. Baby girl, you just wake up and whoop his little butt one day.
Yeah.
Let him get away with, and you know you can whoop his butt. Well, she can whoop his butt. my little girl is tough. My little boy, he's Henri, but he's mama's baby. Anyhow, I think I'm going to go ahead and end the stream and go talk to Uncle Side Eye. And thank you for coming up, Jenny. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. I did listen to your stream this morning. I had it planned, but I was busy doing something. That's why I didn't chat or anything, but I did listen to it.
He was best, Max.
It was fast.
So he was the best
Oh,
interview.
stream last night. Yeah, you did a really good job on
Yeah.
that. And he was great. I liked him. Not enough
He
to.
said even Jimmy said I'm born as a demon. And he laughed at that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was good. He was very personable and willing to talk. He wasn't snooty or uppity or anything.
No.
He was great. I liked him. He was very good. You did a good job on that.
Yeah. Some
You know,
people are put their nose up there like
oh yeah, yeah. No, he was ready to get down with it,
yeah.
with whatever we asked. But I think from now on Fridays we're going to do foil hat Fridays and discuss some of the stuff that's going on in the real world, not YouTube world, but real world. Okay,
Yeah.
Audrey, thank you. And I'm going to go ahead and end the stream, and
Let's see ya.
I'll be on No More Drama on Monday at 1 o'clock Central Time, and we're going to be doing a custom gnome for Morky's mom, a pink and black angel gnome, which I'm excited because I got the cutest wings to put on it. So y'all be sure to go over there, and until then, y'all be good and have a great weekend. Thank you, guys. Bye.